Oh boy, it's nice to have a night off without the kids, huh?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I love having a family and all. I just miss being able to party, drinking and socializing and experimenting with all kinds of different things.
Well, that's what being young is all about. Once you have a family and a career, your experimenting days are over. But tonight is the exception. That's why I'm going to smoke this cigar, only because I've never smoked before.
Good idea.
What haven't you tried that you've always wanted to try?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll drink a few more beers and see where the party takes me.
Yeah. Was that your leg?
Huh? Oh, you mean this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me. You ever had a homosexual fantasy? Not that I have.
You haven't?
No, I mean, well, they say everybody has at some point, don't they?
Well, I never really wanted to experiment with anything too crazy. You know, maybe just, I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's not really gay, is it?
No, I don't think so.
Well, it is a night for experimenting.
It sure is.
Okay, I'll start.
How's it going, chat? We have a breaking up. Well, not breaking. It happened a couple of days ago, but this post is the post that launched 1,000 threads. Moving Murals Art posted this first stop in 2024 from the Tattoo Festival in Minnesota. But this could be anyone's tummy tramp stamp, okay? We don't know that this is Nick, except on further reflection. Look at these childbearing hips, by the way. But on further reflection, they included this part of the tattoo, which we know from the numerous hot tub streams is Nick Rockhaters. He has got himself a very cute little tattoo. Isn't that sweet? Well, we're going to take a look at that tonight, as well as we have the Trump inauguration. This will probably be a long stream. We'll probably go like 1-2 hours on Nick, and then I'll just start kind of seeing if anything crazy happens during the inauguration. I might bring on some people. If you have anyone you want to join, be sure to let us know. And if something like crazy happens in the inauguration, be sure to tell me in the chat, because I won't be able to watch it live while it's happening. But it looks like it's only 6:30 or 7:30 a.m. in America right now. So we'll see what goes on from there. There's been a couple other updates, but primarily we'll be looking at Nick's recent reveal on the Camelot show with my boy, Nick Rockhater. And there's some cope. There's some big fucking cope. But local bros, it sounds like the 5K gift is really happening. So you can look forward to that. And I can look forward to the final frontier, which I found while I was preparing for this stream. Let me see if I can show this. Hold on. This is the Nika Frontier. The final frontier. It's actually really strong. It's like, can you see that? It's like 48% alcohol. So we'll have to see about that with these manual focuses. So if we hit the goal, then I'll journey to the final frontier, and maybe we'll do that. Yes, it is called N. Thank you for posting that in the chat. I mean, it could be something else. I don't know. All right. So let me see. There's a few things. We'll do a little bit of a teaser. Let's go to this first, okay? So this is from Alyssa Clips, and it says, Nick Rockhater's 5K subscribers local gift. And this is a bit of a long sort of breakdown. You have to deal with a lot of Nick in it. So we'll intersperse it with a few other things that are happening. Alex Stein, 99, has done some very funny things recently with regards to Nick. And Kiki is back. Keanu. She went on a 9-hour stream, I think, where she said like whippets like 1 million times. It's kind of hard to watch, but press F in the chat for the brave farmers who went out and actually clipped that, because there's a couple things that are kind of interesting. I believe Aaron also came out and said that the whippets was something he knew all along, but was keeping secret. So we'll have to check that out. But like I said, be sure to like that stream. And let's see this. This is a preview, so we're going to watch the whole thing. But this is called the 5K local gift update on January 15th, 2025.
When I come back, there's an obligation that I made a long time ago.
An obligation.
And I tried to fill that obligation. I ran into several roadblocks with it. And then
like not wanting to do it. One of the roadblocks he ran into when he should have been doing the locals gift was the roadblock he drove over, which was a fence in the Mustang, the Shelby GT, when he was out spending money. $80,000, no, was it $100,000? I think it's an $80,000 car, and he paid, is it an $80,000 car and he paid $100K, or was it a $60,000 car and he bought $80K? Anyway, he spent $20,000 over market price to get this Shelby GT, the midlife crisis mobile, the Law Pope-mobile, instead of putting out the locals gift, which he said would cost around $40,000. But it's like, I think it's like $8 per gift, and it's like 5K subscribers. So those people get the gift. Those are things you could have been spending money on. But yes, the Rustang was one of the roadblocks, as well as the fence.
Then everything kind of just fell out of control. And that
yeah, just kind of fell out of control. Like, you know, it's just, like, these things just happen. Sometimes you just start doing coke, you start going into an open relationship, you fly to Jamaica to talk about anime, and things just fall out of control. It's like, it could happen to anybody. You could just have one bad day and it could have happened to you. Okay.
obligation has gone unattended for way too long. When I come back, that obligation will start being fulfilled. And so,
okay, so when he comes back, it'll start to be fulfilled. This locals gift, this is never happening. Can we get a 1 in the chat if you think the locals gift is happening, and 2 if you think it's just never going to happen?
there's one piece of equipment I need for it, and at that moment, emails will go out, and that will start in earnest. And
yeah, so this could only be the locals gift. I don't think he actually says it by name, like the 5K local gift, but he's constantly said in the past that the 5K local gift, he has all of the emails for people. Even if you're no longer a subscriber, if you're in that original 5,000 people, then you allegedly will one day receive this gift that he needs to buy some extra equipment to do, which I guess is probably just going to be a printing machine or something, or maybe engraving machine or something. I don't know why he doesn't just hire someone to make it. I guess because maybe he has no money.
I'll be able to show the actual physical thing, and people will start getting them. And
you know what'd be really insulting is if he's buying a 3D printer, and it's just something you have to 3D print yourself. That would be really funny. Like construction not included. It's just like the files.
I don't make, like, sometimes my mouth or my brain gets ahead of me. That one was not a thing. That was a thing where I tried to fulfill my promises a while back, and
oh my God.
I knew my own weaknesses. And when I would bring up the thing like, I need this to happen because I won't do it, so can I pay you to do it?
Now, as I recall from this story, actually what happened is he hired somebody, and then he said he didn't like them, or like they weren't getting it done fast enough. So what we really know happened is that he was so insufferable that they decided to stop working with him, because that's what always happens when it comes out, right?
People would stop talking to me for whatever reason. They wouldn't say yes or no. Now I have someone who will help me actually just fulfill it on my own. So it's not going to go the way I thought it would.
So he's making the locals gift himself? Oh my goodness. What could it be? If he's making it himself, it could only be stickers. That's the only thing I can think that, like, let's think about what Nick has, what he needs, and what he's capable of. I always thought that it would be like little Pope hats, because that seemed like it would be like, it'd be like the Recator Law logo on a Pope hat, or like Recator Law patches. I don't think you can do that even if you bought like a sewing machine. That would be much too arduous. But like if it was printing out like Baldo stickers or something, that seems within the range of things that he could actually accomplish. That's pretty lame, by the way. Like he could have made printers a million years ago. Another one I thought it might be was like whiskey tumblers or something, like with the laser engraved Recator Law thing. But there's no way that he's doing that by himself. There's no way, unless he's actually getting the clay and he's doing like the clay molding, and like he's getting the clay wheel and he's going to mold you a bowl. Like everyone gets their own unique bowl with the Recator logo stamp on it. Sent me a meme. All right, let me see what this is. This is pretty good. This is why is Discord changed now? It's kind of annoying. We got Mr. Whippy. This is pretty good. We'll keep this around for when we talk about the Galaxy Gas and the Whippets, because if you're unaware, you're just joining us, it's been revealed that while Nick was clean and sober and taking the government test results that nobody knows how they work, he literally said this I think he actually says it in this stream we're going to watch, that nobody understands how these tests work. It's just magic. It's just government magic that determines whether you're on drugs or not. Okay, bro. I hear the jury's still out on science, but anyway, while he was avoiding alcohol and cocaine, he was doing galaxy gas, nitric oxide, or whatever, what all the kids are doing, because it's like something you can't detect. And apparently April was doing it too. And there's actually been some rumors, although I haven't seen any concrete evidence, that perhaps Mr. and Mrs. Recator, the parents of Nick and Kayla, not them, even though they are adults, they could be Mr. and Mrs. Recator, but they're barely even married at this point, so it doesn't matter. Apparently, people have been saying, or implying that they paid April a bit of a visit and asked her to sign an NDA to get the fuck out of Nick's life. It sounds like she got literally paid off after they kicked her out of the house with no Wi-Fi. Of course, there's no hard concrete evidence on this. However, Nick did say, well, actually not Nick, but Aaron did say that Nick tried to get him to sign an NDA for their stupid little swinging arrangement, which is absolutely ridiculous. So it's just stupid enough to be true. Who can say? Who can say? It explains why his brain's fried. He sounds drunk. He's fried his brain. He was absolutely like toasted when he appeared on the recent shows. Unfortunately, I lost a couple of my links because I was going to do this stream a couple of days ago, but then I thought it'd be kind of better if I just rolled into the Trump inauguration stream. But I had a picture where he was hanging out in Felton's chat, and he's begging to come on. He's like, "Dude, I've got 10 minutes. Let me on." And then he had to send a super chat. He has to pay the court of the pedo and the puppet to let him on to speak. Those are his friends. They don't even like him. The only thing they see in him is a way to felt Aaron. Very embarrassing. Very embarrassing. Oh, we don't need this anymore. By the way, that South Park clip that I played, I didn't make it. It was someone on Kiwi's Farms. I don't know who it was, but whoever you are, congratulations. That's amazing. And the animation work and everything is fantastic. So I wish I could give you credit, but I just don't know exactly who did it. All right. Where were we? We're in the locals thing, right?
But it will get done, and people will start to see that. And I think, honestly, I think that's a huge part of showing people that I'm coming back like serious. And
he's super serious, guys.
That's one of those.
That's why he's in his karaoke room.
It's one of those things that was never supposed to not get done, but life kind of life can throw you curveballs in a whole bunch of ways. But ultimately,
super serious.
I know that's a responsibility that I have, and it was always intended to be fulfilled. So that's part of the.
Yeah, he pledged a 5K local gift. If we got any Johnny Depp trial enjoyers in the chat, he pledged that local gift, and it's super real. It's going to happen. The problem is, like, here's the issue with the locals gift. It's never going to be good because there's so much hype build up around it that if it's not the most amazing thing ever, it's going to be a total letdown. So I actually do feel kind of bad for Nick in that respect, but he deserves it. So whatever.
Comeback that I have, it's like just coming back to my channel and doing the shit that I've always intended to do.
Just start, Nick. Well begun is half done. If you just get back into it, that's what you have to do. Alrighty, so let's get. I'm sorry, I can't look at this. He thinks this looks good. Look at this. Oh my god, no, sorry. We gotta show you where it actually starts. Oh, do I not have this loaded up? All right, hold on a second. Holy shit. All right, I gotta open up. It's Camelot, right? Let me see. Camelot 331, is it? All right, there we go. Nick tells all. No, that's the clip. I want the whole thing. We're gonna go through the whole thing because we've got time to burn. Before we get into this. All right, here it is. It's called streamed 4 days ago. It's called Steel Toe Aaron Imholte lied. LA fires truth plus Melanie Mac Goonagate featuring Rakeda Law. The Goonagate thing is kind of interesting too. I might take a look at that at some point. Like, it's so funny when you look at her, Melanie's tweets from a few years ago, where she's like super pro LGBT, and now she's not so much. Anyway, she realized that her current audience wasn't paying enough, so she had to switch gears. Someone in the chat was brave enough. Where was that timestamp? Nick comes on at 53. There we go. Thank you, brave person who left that comment. All right.
Boop. And
so there you go. Now, let's just start a timer. I'm going to start a timer on my phone. How long do you think it is in this stream until Nick shows his tummy? If you're going onto a stream, there's probably a certain amount of time you shouldn't show your tummy in, especially if you have like the mummy tummy tramp stamp, and especially if you have that skinny, fat wife childbearing hips that he has. But like, what do you think? Like 5 minutes, 10 minutes? How long could it be? All right, I'm going to start my timer now. Let's see.
Hey, what's up, homie?
What's up, dude?
Not much. Hold on, I got to turn you. I got to turn your volume up.
Turn me up, bro. It's
Was it 1
time.
minute, 10 seconds?
Dude, it's been way too long. How you doing?
Good, dude. Your freaking tattoo's looking wicked.
Thanks, man. I got it finally.
So you see, Nick has finally finished his first. Oh, wait, sorry. I'll stop my timer. There we go. So Nick has finished his first Pokemon tattoo. He's got a Gyarados. Very bold choice, actually, for a man that claims he doesn't like cartoons. But there it is. You know, he finished it at least. That's one thing in his life he's completed. That's nice. All right, continuing.
Finished. So it's always been a nod to the Gadsden flag.
Yeah.
Got the lettering added, and then I got this.
It says
kind
Lake
an
of Rage.
abstract
Don't
yellow
tread on me.
background.
Don't tread on water.
But,
In the
Oh, yeah,
Gyarados.
dude. Yeah, I'm done. Man, I don't know about you, but
The ceiling
tattoos
cats.
hurt.
All right, turn the ceiling cats
I don't
on.
like it.
Oh, bro. So it's already been revealed.
There we
It's
go.
already been revealed on Twitter because. So I'm guessing it's because I followed the tattoo artist who did my other tattoo, and he put up a reel today showing it. So like I could show it on stream here because someone all
So nobody has asked for it. He's just like, well, somebody saw it online on Kiwi Farm, so I may as well just show the entire internet. This man loves the embarrassment. He loves the shame of it all.
already found it. Like I'm not tagged or whatever, but they found it in the reel. So I got
They're
another.
watching you. They're watching you.
It's just really low. It's down here.
All right, stop the clock. 1 minute and 14 seconds. He pulled up his shirt. He became a, what do they call these people? You know, the guys that wear like their shirts are like they pull them up like around their nipples or whatever. 1 minute and 16 seconds. And let's get the zoom in. There you go. There you go. Look at that. Now, I'll play it for a couple of minutes, but I'm going to promise I have something special for you, chat. You see, I have inside information about this tattoo that I'm going to reveal tonight because I'm something of a subject expert on this. So we'll take a look in just a second. I want to see if he says it.
I got oh shit, this way.
I want to see if he says it.
So yeah, I got a blue bonnet because I was born in
Blue
Texas,
bonnet.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Lady Raggeds is from Arkansas. So these are apple blossoms. They're the two-state flower.
All right. The two state flowers. Now, as I'm a flower expert, okay, I think that this is incorrect. Let me ask you, chat. Does this look like a blue bottle and apple flowers to you? I mean, I'm not that much of an apple enjoyer, I suppose, but I'm pretty sure apple flowers are typically always white. Or no, there's like a couple pink ones, I suppose, but they don't really look like this. They don't really look like this. So let's go into this. We've got the hold on a second. Is this oh wait, hold on a second. I'll just hide my screen for a second. I'll hide my screen for a second. There we go. And then we'll slideshow. There we go. All right. There we go. All right, chat. So we've been friends for a long time. We've been going on streams and stuff. So I think it's time I showed you my PP, my PowerPoint presentation. Let's begin. The PowerPoint. Nick's tramp stamp. No regrets. And then you've got Nick. All right, I'm going to show you the deepest breakdown and analysis. Oh, there's one more thing I forgot, actually. Hold on a second. I got to bring this up. I feel like I'm going to get a lot of copyright strikes on this stream, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, there we go. All right, I've got it loaded up. I don't know if I can play it. I need no, wait, it's not this one. It's sorry, wrong one. Second. There we go. All right, this one. And I need to switch this to thing. Just a second, chat. I'm working on something in the background. There we go. All right, that's ready. That's good to go. It's schizo hours. Yes, it's real schizo hours now. Let us begin. So let's see what Nick says. He claims that it's bluebells or blue bonnets, I suppose, from Texas. This is his masculine flower. All right, first of all, even if this is a masculine flower tattoo, why is he getting it right above his cock? Like, I feel like this is a no-go zone for a male tattoo. Put it on your leg, put it on your arm, put it on your neck, put it on your forehead, put it on your back, incorporate it into the Gyarados over here, but not on the tummy. Not on this, like, I saw this photo and I thought it was a woman's tattoo, like legitimately. I was like, that's a pretty hairy, well, it wasn't even that hairy, but I was like, that was a very hairy woman's tattoo. Why are you showing me this? Oh my God, it's Ricada. because I saw this part of the tattoo. But he claims it's bluebells, Texas, and apple flowers from Arkansas, which I always thought was Arkansas, but I guess not. It's him and his wife. Oh, is that sweet? That's nice. I will be us, as he says on his other tattoo that he has, which looks like a child's scribblings on his shoulder, which is an acceptable place for a male tattoo. I'm not much of a tattoo enjoyer, honestly. I think I prefer no tattoos, but I have seen a couple that are kind of cool. Now, we have to remember that Nick never lies. He's the most true and honest man in the game. And also, Dave with 2 pounds says, how long before the sex change? 1 year. Before the end of the year. Before the end of the year, he's going to be Nicola Ricator. All right. What is the truth? Because we're truth seekers here. You know, we're noticers and we're truth seekers. So we have to find the truth. Let's see. Part 1. Does Nick really love his wife? Like, ask yourself, chat. Does anything in Nick's behavior indicate to you that he loves his wife? Like, if you're going to get a tattoo of someone, surely you would get a tattoo of someone you love. But I don't know. The facts don't seem the case. Let's consider the following. Okay, so yes, they do love each other because they were married for 20 years. Now, I'm not sure if wife swapping and abandoning one woman to the Delta Quadrant or the Deep Space Nine or whatever counts as marriage, where you go off with the hot new thing that you steal from a guy that's linking your source out of his wife or something. I don't know about that. But this is all the evidence I could find in my numerous research that I could find that they like each other, is that they are technically married for 20 years. Let's look at the no evidence. Let's see. He claims her body was destroyed, which is a very weird thing to claim about someone you love. Now, I don't believe this to be true, actually. But he claimed that after a woman has 5 kids, her body is destroyed beyond recognition. He was into wife swapping, which I think you can't really love your wife if you're into wife swapping. I feel like that's consummate wife hating material. You hate your wife, but you're too afraid to admit it. So that's why you do the swapping. He refused, even when his life was destroyed. The cops took his kids. He was potentially facing years in jail for cocaine possession and having firearms. He didn't give up April. He tried to keep her around for as long as possible, and he denied it, but then he said he couldn't deny it any longer, and he had to shout to the world, no, I love April. Now that she's mysteriously disappeared, perhaps she has been Mama JF'd out in the woods. We don't know. Maybe she's part of the potato gang now, potato salad. But he claims that he still loves her. April, not his wife. He very rarely mentions his wife at all. It's a bit strange. He's been saying this in private DMs. He's been saying this live. He misses April. April, come back, baby. He's going to the Twin City to get hand jobs. He said this when he was still a little bit coherent. So all of this evidence, I would say that I can't come to the conclusion, but we don't know what's going on inside someone's head. But I want you to come to your own conclusion with this presentation. Part 2. And this is where, hold on. There we go. I'm going to start the music. Okay. But I might have to turn it off. Does Nick love something more than his wife? Perhaps does. Perhaps he really loves anime. Let's consider the following. He says no. He says he hates that nerd shit. But is this the truth? Does he really hate anime? Well, let's see. He collects model toys. He owns Blu-rays of animes. He was a guest at 2 anime conventions as a headliner. He was stepped on by anime women. He flew 2,210 miles to talk anime with Jamaican men. Is this the behavior of a man that hates anime? Here's the pictorial evidence. Here's him getting stepped on in Anime Matsuri. Here's him owning a collection of an anime DVD, redo of the healer. And this is a close-up of that same email. It's ecchi shit. It's tantamount to hentai. He's gooning. He's watching this. He needs to see the unset, uncovered, everything. He needs a perfect, 5K resolution. He needs to see those pixels. He's peeping on the redo of the healer. The complete collection. Let's see. Let's analyze his claim. Bluebells and apple flowers. Bluebells and apple flowers. Let's have a look at a bluebell for a second. This is a bluebell, chat. You notice the way that the bluebell swoops around this corner? This doesn't look like his tattoo. That's a bit strange. Bluebells seem to always drip. They droop like a bell. It doesn't look like a bluebell to me. Apple flowers. Apple flowers have white petals. That doesn't make sense to me, chat. How could he have these white petals? And it's pink on the tattoo. It doesn't make sense. Maybe the tattoo artist doesn't know, but I don't know. I don't think so. What other flowers could these be? Well, As something of a flower enjoyer myself, and flowers are very prominent in the country that I live, Japan. In fact, we have 2 seasons of flowers in Japan, which means that I can recognize flowers from very far away, actually. My eyes are like peak performance for looking at flowers. So what are they, if they're not bluebells and apple flowers? First one is pretty obvious. Sakura. Of course, he loves anime. Of course, he would love Sakura, the Japanese flower, the anime flower. It makes perfect sense. What could this blue flower be? Wisteria. Japan is very prominent and important with wisteria. And look at the way that this curves down, the same way that his tattoo turns down. This has to be wisteria. But wait a minute. Wisteria and Sakura? He likes anime. It's all starting to come together. Conclusions. Conclusions. We know that Nick loves anime. We don't know that he loves his wife. Nick and his wife? No. Nick and his waifu. Nezuko. Embodiment of the Sakura, the pink kimono, the flowers in the background. He's got a waifu. It's Nezuko. But wait a minute. What is the bluebell, the wisteria? Wait a minute. Wisteria is a prominent feature in the anime. Kimetsu no Yaiba. Demon Slayer. And Nick has been anime maxing. And his waifu is now Nezuko. We got him, chat. We got him, chat. That's it. He's an anime enjoyer. He's a gooner. And his tattoo is anime. Why else would he have a Gyarados on his arm? It makes perfect sense. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my PP presentation. Oh dear, sorry. I wanted to have a little bit of fun with that. I get to have a little bit of fun. I get to have a little bit of fun as a joke, right? I feel like I deserve it. Dear, oh dear. Where were we? Where were we? We got him? Yeah, we got him, chat. All right, the autistic analysis is over for now, but we've got a couple other things. Dear, oh dear. Uniglow? Yeah, I shop at Uniglow, actually. Do you know that here's the thing about Uniglow? It actually stands for unique clothes. Interesting. And also Uniglow's competitor, GU. It's like a G and a U, but actually the Japanese word GU means freedom. Think about it. Anyway, let's continue with his appearance on the Camelot podcast.
Whatever, but they found it in the reel. So
Can I get a like? Come on, chat. Can I get a like for my little PowerPoint presentation? I was autistically putting that together right before the stream. Can we get at least 400 likes? That's half the people in chat. If we get to 400 likes, more people see the show, and we get to get more profit. We get to get more views. We get to more. It's all better. We'll have more fun. We'll have more fun. Also, Aspen Fallen enjoys the Death Note music. Thank you very much. I promised it'll come back. It'll come back. Anytime we do autistic analysis, I'll play the light music or the L music. Thank you very much for that. And Nick is Sailor Goon. Yes, indeed, he is. Thank you very much. All right, let's continue.
Watching you. They're
Let's
watching
see.
you.
Oh, we'll put this onto 1.25, I think, because this goes on for a bit. Like, there's a lot of like filler, but there are a few like kind of nuggets in here that are worth reviewing. So, plus we're kind of burning time until the inauguration starts.
It's just really low. It's down here. I got oh shit, this way. So yeah, I got
Wait a minute. Play back the tape. Camelot can't believe his eyes. Look at this.
it's just really low. It's down here. I got oh shit, this way.
Look at his face, chat. Zoom in on this. I got to open this up in my crime lab. Open up the crime lab for a second. Enhance. Enhance sector 5. Look at the face. This is a face of disgust. So what the fuck are you doing? Oh my God. He's like, why did I invite you on? Oh my goodness. What a disaster. What a abject disaster. It's grim. It is grim.
So yeah, I got a blue bonnet because I was born in Texas, right?
Doubt. No, it's a wisteria. We know, chat.
Yeah.
And then Lady Raggeds is from Arkansas. So these are apple blossoms. They're the 2 state flowers. So I got that done as well. But speaking of fucking hurting.
Winter Soldier, welcome to member status. Thank you.
Holy shit.
Also, speaking about hurting, my life, it's a constant pain. Sometimes I burn a candle just down to the tip just to feel anything. But Winter Soldier, welcome as member status. I put a new link. If you want to join the private Discord, you need to join as a YouTube member and just go over to the community page. There's a new Discord invite link. You can post your cat pictures, you can post your food pictures, or you can gossip about sector news and things like that as well. Thank you very much for joining as a member.
Tattoos on the hip.
Camelot takes a big huff of the copium pipe. After he sees that tattoo, he's like, oh my God. This is even better. This one's even better reaction. Second, I'm gonna have to make a collection of these photos or something. There we go. It's like after this is the face you make after you see that someone's been absolutely butt broken. Absolutely butt broken. Oh wait, no. What am I doing?
Really, really fucking hurt.
Oh,
Sorry,
man.
And the stomach
EU,
is like
welcome to
the
members.
same
Thanks
too.
much.
Like the stomach is brutal. I couldn't decide. Like, which one hurts worse? And like whenever.
Like, can somebody in chat just tell me why they think he would get a stomach tattoo? It makes no sense. Like, it's the worst. It's the least masculine place. Was he? I don't know. Was he trying to cover up his cesarean section scar or something? That's the only thing that makes sense to me, is that the babies come out. They couldn't deliver it vaginally, so he got a cesarean and he had to cover up the scar. That's why that actually makes a lot of sense. You see, this is where the scar would go for the cesarean. So this makes perfect sense now. It actually makes perfect sense. he got his uterus put in, so the transition's going very nicely.
Either one was happening. It's like, well, I wish the other one was happening. But.
Yeah, right here on this little dip where you're like, I guess you're.
Oh, the trench. Yeah, that's
That
called the trench. Apparently,
and the elbow was.
Yeah, the back. From what I understand it, the back of the arm is pretty painful. In New Zealand, actually, the reason I don't really like tattoos is because everyone has a tattoo in New Zealand, because it's part of Maori culture, and they would just talk about them all the time. So that's kind of why I don't like them. But a lot of them would get tattoos on the back of the arm here because it's like the Maori ones, and they said that it's like shit. So I believe them.
Probably the worst ever, and then like right here, it was like
anything inside of the arm. This all hurts like fucking hell.
Yeah, dude. God, I killed my ass.
The guy who did the coloring on this, he's been tattooing for 30 years, and he doesn't give a.
Maybe he should be tattooing for another 30 years. I'm just gonna say it. Maybe he needs another 30 years of practice.
Shit.
He's heavy-handed.
He's like, if it hurts you at all. He's like, and I've got blood all over my arm. And I'm like, that's never happened.
Dude, I hate when you can hear it. It's like, wow, wow, wow. And you're just bleeding like profusely. And you're like, you need a break? No, I'm good.
It's kind of brutal, but like I just got him the other day. So I'm wearing the tank top because like having material on him kind of sucks still.
Yep.
I got a couple days left before it'll be like all good. But anyway,
I just wear tank
I
tops.
figured your show, it's okay to wear a tank top, right? Like,
are you allowed to wear a tank top when you've got this figure? This is like an Asian gymnast, female Asian gymnast. That's a flat surfboard Asian gymnast figure. The nipples are bleeding through too. Oh my God. Has he got like a nipple piercing? It wouldn't surprise me at this point. I'm not sure you're like, like Camelot's allowed to wear a tank top because he's actually got musculature, right? You know, he looks good in a tank. Right. But look at Nick. The thing is, you can see the outlines of his, like, you can see the womb outline. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. You know, like if you draw like if I take this one into my crime lab, I don't reopen it as I closed it before. It's not a good look. Oh, sorry, flashbang the audience for a second. All right. We'll go in and examine this. We'll go in and examine this closely. All right. Zoom it in. Zoom in. All right. So take a look at this, okay? You can actually see the lines of his tummy lines like this. That's not a good look, bro. You can see the skeletal figures, the spooky skeleton figures, but then he's still got these like wide hips. Like if you look at it, the hips go wide. Like that's not a good look for a man, right? That's not a good look at all. Hold on. Now you know, if you go to like a drawing school or something, the typical male shape should be like a triangle, right? And a female shape is usually like this, okay? And we even recognize this on bathrooms, right? It's just perfectly easy to recognize. If your body shape goes in and out like that, that's not tank top weather, right? If I put on the little tank top here like this, it looks like a fucking dress. It looks like a dress. Don't wear it. This isn't a tank top. This is a sundress.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. It's because I'm lazy, man. I got home from the gym.
I miss them titties, girl.
Yeah, dude. I got home from the gym and I'm like, yeah, I'm not changing, bro. I've been driving everywhere. I drove 40 hours last week. Went to North Carolina, back, do a medical fair. Went to Daytona, did the test, came back, and now I got to go to North Carolina in 4 days to do a photo shoot thing for NASCAR.
Dude, so like for my situation, it's a long fucking story in general. But one of the things, we don't have a nanny
Greatest
anymore
story never told.
circumstances, Wilson.
Yeah, so he was so degenerate that he drove the nanny out of the house. And that nanny had actually been with their family for, I believe, like 5 years. So those kids probably saw that nanny as their parental figure, probably over Nick and Kayla, because, I mean, they're too busy getting zonked out or checking out what's going on in 10 Forward or Quark's Bar or something. So, like, losing that nanny was a big blow. And it's not like she stopped being a nanny. She just found a better family, which is kind of sad because, you know, even if you're just working a job, you still build connections with people like that, right? Did I see this one? EA says, rock bottom truthers keep losing. Feels good, man. Thank you very much for the membership. Robert Glock says, Camelot only read supportive Team Neck super chats while Nick on stream and saved the piss talking super chats to the end after Nick saw the stream. I mean, I can understand doing that. Like, you don't want to drive the content cow away early in the stream. Like, it's very funny to read like a good super chat that like completely flames a guest, but you're kind of cucking the content if you do that. You gotta balance it, you know, see how many you can sneak in before they actually like you have to kind of edge them before they like rage quit. So I can understand that. Nick is very temperamental. So you never know. I mean, with those estrogen pills, I mean, he's probably more so going through mood swings. Dees with a £6 says, your extensive and pictorial evidence led an investigation into whether Nick is an anime gooner has me fully convinced he is. Well done, Inspector. Thank you very much. And Jill M's member for 1 month says, no, my girl pants hang out to the side. Thank you very much. Let's continue. We're 5 chats away from the goal I'll journey to the final frontier. It's like you don't even want to see me drink this N Nika whiskey. Like it's literally Nika Frontier N. So it's pretty strong too. So I should be careful. Actually, I don't want to get really crazy today.
Yeah. And that means that I do almost all the driving. Now our kids are homeschooled, but like there's a lot of stuff we can't teach at home. Like you can't do band or choir or drama at home. So we actually they go to a place to do those things. But so today I had 7 trips leaving the house.
He says that he does all this driving. First of all, there's 2 parents in the house. I guess one has to stay behind us. So that's fine. It actually came out that his dad does most of the driving. So dad has to come around and drive the kids around. And dad also has to come around to tell him to pay his property taxes. But apparently dad forgot to tell him to pay his mortgage, which is why he almost lost the house. Fortunately, he has the superpower of being born into a rich family, even though they kind of became rich later in life, but it was a windfall sort of situation. It's fine. So nice that he got gifted 2 houses that he said that he paid for with his own money. I'd very much like to know how he did that, with being a father of 5 and working only a couple jobs out of college while putting him through night school.
House and coming back. And all of them are a minimum. They're minimum 10 miles. Most of them are 18. So we're talking about, like, I drove not doing anything. I drove like 130 miles today, and it's just this out and back. You're home for an hour, out and back, out and back, out and back. It's fucking brutal.
Dude,
And,
I got in my truck the other day to go to Daytona, and I tapped in,
Got my truck.
Daytona Super Speedway, and just clicked it, and it was like 689 miles, and I was like, oh, like, oh God, Jesus, kill me, please.
But I take a long drive over these like little fucking petty short drives any day, because like when I get my parents live down in Florida, and so we will drive from Minnesota down to, they live in the St. Petersburg, Tampa area, and we'll drive down there, and it's somewhere between 24 and 27 hours depending on stops. And I'll get in the zone. Like I don't
know if there's any evidence about this, but like it certainly seems like he does anything to get away from the house, either by going to see his mistress or just taking long drives through the countryside.
Pumped up and ready to go, and then it's like, let's just go straight through. Kids, like when it gets dark at night, you're putting on pajamas. I'm listening.
Did he say he drove like 180 miles? Isn't that like 300 kilometers? That doesn't make no fucking sense.
To Stone Temple Pilots.
Thank you for joining us.
We're going to drive, and we're not going to stop, and you guys go to bed. Otherwise, we'll stop at a hotel, and they don't mind, but it's like, we'll get to your grandparents way faster if we just get in the car and just go.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do. But I get pumped up for the drive, and like I'm good. But it's just a little like everyday driving, because the 7 drives in and out, I drive between 80 and 120 miles a day every day.
All right, 180 to, did he say 180 to 120? That's like, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. Isn't that like driving across an entire state in America or something? I mean, I don't understand how big America is because I've never been there. But like driving like 300 kilometers is basically half the length of the North Island of New Zealand. There's no way. Like he said, like I think the longest distance he said was 18 kilometers away. Oh, sorry, 18 miles away. Even if he's doing that 5 times, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I don't believe it. Jill Ems with the 2 says you drove your channel into the grave. I think I hope you're talking about Nick and not me, but I guess the argument has been made for both of us. So thank you or no thank you. And Royston S. Bailey with the 2 says, wow, Nick looks so hard and cool. Yeah, he's a very tough boy. You wouldn't want to get into a fight with him. Now, he has accepted Aaron Imholte's challenge to fight him in the ring. Aaron is allegedly pussing out because he can't fight Nick because there's a criminal investigation against him and Felton for the digital trespassing or whatever. But I believe people are trying to get Keemstar to arrange it. And I think, like, that makes sense. And I think that's the only way that the story can end. But you know what's going to happen if Nick gets in the ring with Aaron? It's going to turn out exactly the same way as the fight from Bruno. And if you haven't seen that movie, it's like one of those, was it Sacha Cohen Bryan or whatever? The guy that does Borat. So Bruno's about like a gay German guy. And he goes into, and they kind of like troll people in the movie. So they go into like a redneck state or whatever. And they set up a cage match. And they get inside and they start fighting, but then they start making out and kissing and like sucking each other's dicks and shit to make all of the rednecks angry. That's exactly what would happen if Nick and Aaron got in the cage, because the sexual tension between them is just outrageous at this point. And Nick is trying to convince the world that that Aaron wants to come back for a taste. Aaron's just completely burning him, like blowing him off, which only makes Nick want him more, obviously, because Aaron's been going the cold shoulder, cutting off communication. And that's what really drives a man crazy, is when you ignore them. So Aaron knows what he's doing. He's very manipulative. He is actually a very master manipulator, according to Nick. He's also very dumb and doesn't have a present, future, or even past, which is very strange. But somehow he's like an idiot savant manipulator it's all Aaron's. He's behind everything, allegedly.
Just driving the kids back and forth to their stuff. Because like we do the basics. We do like science, math,
Would be a tough
reading,
loss for Aaron
language
to
arts,
swallow.
all that stuff here at home. But it's the rest of this stuff that you need 20, 30, 40 plus people. You can't do that at home. You got to take it back. Plus, like, if you got a school shooter, you want it to happen at the other school, right? Like, you don't want that to be at home.
What does he mean by that? Wait a second. What does he mean by that's a weird thing to say, Nick? I don't know about that. That's a very weird thing to say. I mean, he said that he wanted to homeschool to keep his kids away from degeneracy. So he brought the degeneracy into his own home. And now he's saying he like, if you want the school shooting to happen, it should be at another person's thing. So like, I don't know. That's some dark shit. I don't know about that.
No, of course not. Well, you're in Minnesota. You ain't got to worry about that. Hopefully. Although when you hear about school shootings, it's always like in just a rural ass place. You're like, why does this keep happening in rural ass places? It's pretty wild, though. Man, I had a question and I fucking spaced on it. Oh,
like this.
when I'm driving, I will, depending on where I'm at, I'll.
Camelot's like, he's regretting his decisions. He's like, this guy's going to take my channel down. My boy, Nick Recator. No.
Change my playlist on Spotify. So if I'm going through the mountains in Tennessee, I'll change it to like John Fogerty radio. Because it's just like all these like little like creeks and water and all these like tiny shacks. And it's just playing John Fogerty and it just feels right. That's what I do. Or Skinner. I've been listening to a lot of Leonard Skinner. And I don't know why.
Yikes.
I've never really cared about Leonard Skinner. But now I'm like listening to Leonard Skinner every
So
time.
I became a turbo gay a while back. And I
mean, a broken clock is right twice a day. This is just absolute truth. It's absolute truth. He thought it was it was all a funny meme, but he leaned into it too far. He didn't lean into the joke about being gay. He leaned over into the joke about being gay. He bent over into the joke. Now, I'm not sure if they just said it because I was kind of distracted for a second, but it actually comes out that Camelot was in Minnesota to race, and he didn't even try and contact Nick. He didn't even ring up and say, hey, I'm going to be in this area. Come watch me if you want, or I can swing by your house. He completely ignored him. And Nick is like, oh, I guess you must have forgotten my number. I guess you were too busy. You should have. This is where he's at now. He has to pay to go on the court of the pedo and the puppet. And he has to beg to go on Camelot's show. And Camelot obviously wants the money, so he's going to take it. Actually, I feel bad for Camelot here because I think Camelot's shows regularly about like 800 to 1,000 people. When I saw this, because I was doing something else while this was live, so I caught the replay. I think his show dipped down to like 600 viewers, which, and I'm not like a view shame or anything. Even if you've got like a couple hundred or even just like 20, 30 people watching you, I think that's still pretty good. Like, because convincing other people to watch you is one of the hardest thing online to do, I think. But I'm pretty sure Camelot's show dipped down. Like, he was expecting it to be like this giant headlining event, but Nick just doesn't have the draw anymore. Like, he went on some other guy's show to do like a movie review show. It got like 10 live viewers. It's like, he's actually a detriment. Being the last general or the last lieutenant in the Baldo bunker is not a profitable place to be. It's very embarrassing. I feel bad because I don't hate Camelot or anything. I think he's doing his own thing. He's doing all right. I think his racing's pretty impressive, honestly. Like, a lot of people make fun of him, like, oh, he's being beaten by Malco in the middle and female races or whatever. I mean, I couldn't do that shit. So I think that's an achievement. So good for him. Good for him. But you can tell that he's regretting his decisions here.
Like, I really like Machine Gun Kelly's newer stuff, like in the past couple of years, because he really embraced like the punk pop and stopped with
We
like
might
the white
skip
guy
past
rap
the music talking about
shit. Like, he stopped doing rap battles with Eminem. I thought those were super gay. I don't like those songs, but the punk pop stuff, I've always liked punk pop, and so I like that. But he has a new song out.
Wrap it up,
It's
Nick.
a cover though of a Luke Bryan song. It's called "Sun to Me." It's like he does it so like he captures the soul of the song. Luke Bryan, I listened to his version. I was like, this sounds just like gutter trash. Like, I don't understand what this guy's doing. His inflection is all wrong. The essence of it's all wrong. But so I'll listen to a lot of MGK, but you can't listen to him with kids in the car because obviously like a shitload of language happens.
Yeah.
And despite my
yeah, you wouldn't want your kids to hear any bad language. That'd be really bad for them to hear some naughty words while you're being arrested and the doors being broken down and the police are coming in and taking out your weapons and your 26 grams of coke. But you wouldn't want the kids to hear someone say the F word. Okay. What are my thoughts on Goongate? I don't know much about Goongate, but I did see what happened on the Kino Casino with Melanie Mack's expose. That was pretty good, actually. I had no idea. Basically, my thoughts on it from what I've seen so far is that Melanie Mack is a grifter who tried to shill to being the progressive woke side by talking about all of the like lesbians and gay shit. It's all like, oh yeah, I love this shit. Then it didn't work for her, so then she decided to go into the conservative grift, and she found it was much more profitable. And I find all of her positions to be completely hypocritical. She's like, no, Lara Croft isn't sexual at all. It's just Kino. And then, but actually, this thing, Stellar Blade or whatever the thing is, that's too much. So I think she's just a grifter. She's a one-trick pony, and I mean, she's turning 40, so it makes sense that she's complaining about pretty women.
potty mouth around the kids, I try to keep it pretty clean.
That's I've been listening to Falling in Reverse, like Ronnie Radke's new album. And
Oh my god, that guy's amazing.
It's wicked, absolutely. And I've never been into that style. And then Phil Labonte was like, listen to this, and I was like, oh my god,
Dude, he
amazing.
So what got me attracted to him were there are two songs, Voices in My Head and Popular Monster.
Dumb.
Voices in my head. It's perfect song for Nick. That's the only friend he has now, is the voices in his head.
Amazing.
And he nails like, so it's do you remember the Sky King, the jackass who stole the plane up in like Seattle?
Yeah, that was sad.
And like did a couple barrel rolls and then died, but he had like this really
Sky King's a great guy. He's a living legend. He didn't hurt anyone, and he got away with it. Good for him. It's kind of a sad story, but it's so inspirational, actually. Like, when you listen to him, he sounds like he's having so much fun.
I don't want to call it an inspirational verbal manifesto, but it kind of was. And he really nailed the problem that I think a lot of guys between about 17 and probably 28 were really feeling, like just this hopelessness of, you don't care about me, I'll never advance in life. And I remember every guy remembers being that age and going, nobody gives a shit about who you are, what you believe. And then sometime in your mid 30s, like, you get one gray hair and everybody's like, oh my God, you are the most wise person. They'll listen to everything you say. But until then, you're fucked. And it's so tough to sit there and like,
this is kind of true what he's saying here. There is a little bit of wisdom here, but typically in your early 20s, you don't really know much anything anyway. So people have a reason not to believe you. You think you have all the answers when you're 18 or 22 or something, but you don't. And you reflect on it and you realize that your ideas were cringe. And it's not because you turn 30 or because you get a gray hair. It's just because you actually have more experience, hopefully. If you don't destroy your brain and turn into Swiss cheese with galaxy gas and cocaine and loose sloots. that you keep in your second house. Like, just because Nick is like, what is Nick, like 45 or something? Like, people don't see Nick and think he's a fount of wisdom. They used to, but he's old. It doesn't, like, it's not because you're old. It's because you actually probably have acquired a skill in something. And people can recognize that you actually have some achievements to look back on. Now, people used to look back on Nick and think that he was a very well-achieved man, a man of like learning, but also humor and everything. But now they just know that everything he said was a lie. His complete history was fabricated. Well, yeah, it was kind of fabricated. Like he lied about owning the houses and paying for his own money. He said he was a self-made man when he's a trust fund baby. Even if he became a late life trust fund baby, he's still a trust fund baby.
Over and over and over, be rejected on having like ideas or contributions or ways to do things more efficiently. And like Ronnie Radke, when he did Voices in My Head and Popular Monster, I'm like, this is the same like sort of vibe I get from Sky King. This guy is laying out how he's going through every day, and he's feeling insane because everything that's happening just doesn't make sense to him. And yet he's forced to endure this world every single day of his life. And so like I fucking love that dude. I think he's got it. I think he nails like that age group of young men in America specifically. And they didn't have a voice for a while. They're getting a few now, but he was one of the first ones.
Yeah, that was the thing is it's
I want to skip past
I
this
guess
music.
maybe not
Chat,
in,
we want to skip past the music
maybe
discussion.
it's a new thing in like the modern era of life, but especially modern day. I think it's getting a little bit better, but
I'm going to mute it and we keep going. Dave with the £5 says, to be honest, if the main subject of the stream was showing awful tattoos and then mumbling about their commuting habits, I'd probably close the tab. It gets onto some more stuff later. We'll see if there's anything good now, but I might skip past the music part.
so
Right. And it's like one of the things I tried to do a couple years back was like, guys, I get it, but like it's going to be okay. Like I know things suck now, but people
Inspirational. Look, guys, I'm about to take a plea deal for my cocaine habit and almost destroying my entire family's life and having my children taken away from me for 7 days. But listen to me as a word from the wise. It's going to get better. I mean, hopefully, because if it gets worse, it gets really dark.
will like start listening. They will start respecting you. And it won't make any sense to you because you're still the same guy on Monday, but you'll have a birthday.
There's like no...
And then
There's like no critical thinking here at all. He just says that men turn 30. He doesn't understand it. Men turn 30 and they start respecting him because likely that's what happened in his own life. Here's what happened, Nick. You turned 30 and you had a family and you had some children and you had a house paid off and you had a law degree. And people saw you and said, wow, that's an accomplished guy. I'm going to start listening to this guy. You're no longer a loser working in the bank who just goes to the library and reads 40K novels during your lunch hour and you don't put any... you don't put any effort into achieving anything at work. That's what happened before he got the trust fund and the school paid for. That's when no one listened to Nick. But now he's always a lawyer. He's okay. Lawyers are usually respectable. They're usually smart people. Oh, he's got a family. That's nice. Usually family men are trustable. Oh, he's got 2 houses paid off or no mortgage. This guy's got it worked out. Of course I'll listen to him. So he sees his own situation and he does no understanding of why people are reacting like this. There's no thought here at all. It's just like, well, I turned 30 and my daddy and mummy gave me some money and I got a house and a law degree, and then suddenly people just start listening to me. It makes perfect sense. I guess it's because I'm 30 and I got a gray hair. No, it's because you had achieved something, or at least you looked like you achieved something. And now, like, because nobody looks at Nick now. He's older now, so surely he should be more responsible and more reputable, right? If Nick's theory is indeed true. But it's not. Nobody sees him with any respect. He's a laughing stock. He's a sideshow. He's not even a headliner anymore. For especially even just going on these shows, the views were lower than usual. Embarrassing. Dave says a 2-pounder. People respect what you have to say when you are competent. That's exactly right. And most people do become competent just through putting their work in day after day after day. I'm a strong believer in that. It's better to be conscientious than to be a genius. If you just go in day after day, 30 minutes, like even if you just practice something else, like a hobby or a skill or something, if you 30 minutes a day, every day for an entire year is a lot better than just like binging like 10 hours on the weekend or something like that. Just go in there, put in your time, consistently focus on something, and you'll get smart and you'll get respected very quickly, I think.
by Thursday of that same week, people are like, well, we want to hear your contributions. You're like, I've been saying the same shit for 3 years.
Yeah, dude.
4 years, 5 years.
I had a birthday I think it wasn't 2024, but 2023 I had a birthday. and like Jesse threw me a surprise birthday party, and no one showed up
Oh fuck!
except except Jesse, obviously. And it
Yeah,
was
sounds like every birthday I have lately.
dude, it was one of the worst.
The cop showed up. The government worker that tests your piss showed up. That'd be nice. You can kind of work buddies. That happens, right?
Worst things I've ever went
That's
through, and I
sad,
told her I was like, never do this again because this.
I think like I'm gonna be honest. I feel like celebrating birthday parties is a little bit cringe as you get older as well. Like I kind of ignore most of my birthdays. If nobody wants to, like maybe if it's like a Friday or a Saturday, I'll like, do you guys want to hang out for some drinks? Or like recently I've been streaming, so we did like stream birthday things like that. But like I think if you're an adult man, celebrating your birthday is a bit zesty. Like if it's like, oh, let's put a big birthday party for me. Now, if you want to throw a birthday party to have nice time for your friends, I feel like that's a pretty cool thing to do. Like, like invite all your bros over, bring a bunch of drinks and just have fun. Like that's fine. That's fine. But like throwing the birthday party, like, oh, we got cake and we got the banner and everything, that's a bit zesty. But I mean, I guess it works in this household, right?
It's like made me want to die because I'm just sitting here with all these snacks and like this like plate of like all these hors d'oeuvres and all this shit, and I'm just sitting here alone, and I'm like, this is awful. And everybody, dude, I went on a tirade. I got on Facebook, because my personal friends are on Facebook, and I was like,
Right.
all of you are vile. I went crazy, dude.
I'm not sure you want to reveal this, that you went onto Facebook and like this is Camelot, not Nick, obviously, but I'm not sure you want to go onto Facebook and complain at your friends for not remembering your birthday. That's a pretty good way for them to not celebrate your birthday next year.
Real pissed. See,
So-
Goody says,
Yeah, I would not admit to
bingo
this. I would not
twice.
admit to this.
my bingo.
Hey, what's up, Goody? How you doing, brother?
My bingo.
Someone told me you were disloyal, and I was like, oh.
Is that true? Is C Goody disloyal? Has he left the bunker? There's no way, right? C Goody will never abandon the bunker, right? Surely.
Well, I'm gonna nuke his entire town. Just hope he dies, like the rat he is, rather than surviving the nuke, like the roach he might be. No, I'm just kidding. Goody's a good egg.
A lot of
I love
roaches
him.
recently.
I miss so many people online, and I'm trying to get myself like online more. And I think the best way right now is to pop on streams of friends and other people. And
Well, I mean, he's completed that. He wants to jump on streams of friends. You've done it. You've gone on Camelot's show. Okay, done. You've jumped on all your friends' streams. Congratulations. The Ricada World Tour is over now. Now what? You have to boot up the stream, Nick. Like, what do you guys think? Like, I was talking about, like, I think Andrew was in the chat the last stream, and we were talking about this a little bit. And I think that Nick's first stream back will be a big stream. I think a lot of people will show up out of curiosity, morbid curiosity. And then I think it's going to go up and it's going to taper down. And I think he's going to settle somewhere in the 800 to 1200 range of live viewers. That's my estimation so far. But, if he does come back, streams like consistently to 3-4 times a week, 5 times a week, whatever, doing like trial stuff, covering like actual things that people want to see. And he keeps doing that. The audience that he betrayed will never return. You can't win them back. Once bitten, twice shy, all that. But he could definitely build up a new audience. There's definitely in the cards if he puts in the work. But I don't think he wants to. He keeps talking about wanting to return soon, and he wishes he could stream. You don't want to return. You don't wish to return. You just come back if you enjoy it. Like, I don't need to be told to do these streams because I have a lot of fun doing them. And sometimes I take breaks, and that is what it is. But I think if he really wanted to stream, he would have by now. He's got time. He's got time to spend all day in Melton's chat talking about how much he misses Aaron's coom. But he doesn't have enough time to boot up his own stream for even an hour. You don't even have to do a long stream. I know, I think he's old streams are 3 to 4 hours, right? Or maybe 5 hours or something like. You don't have to do that. You can just do a 30 to 1 hour stream. Leave the crowd wanting more. Salvador M with a $5 says, "I'm a waiter. Every time we have a birthday dinner for a man, we wish him happy birthday, then make fun of him for being gay in the kitchen." Oh my goodness. Well, speaking about celebrations, we hit the goal, chat. So I'll be right back. I'm going to mute my desktop audio because unfortunately, if I play the song for the Ricada lolcow, I get copyright claimed by the Polish song. But all right, I'm back. Was I playing the music? Did I play the music by mistake? If I did, that'd be bad because I'll probably get a copyright strike. Since we hit the goal tonight was to drink the Nika Frontier N. Nika Frontier N. It's pretty strong, 58% or something. That's to refocus now. Refocus. There we go. So we're gonna hit it. I did. It played the music. I thought I muted my disc. Oh shit! That's because I used StreamYard to play it. Oh well, it's a good song. The words are really funny too. If you don't speak Polish or whatever, the lyrics are literally the only thing going through my head is 5 grams of cocaine. So we blew it already, chat. So cheers, and we'll watch the inauguration soon. Oh, that's strong. That's good though. It is good. Lick the bottle, and I'm not going to lick the bottle. You can't make me lick the bottle. All right. I'm sure I've muted the desktop audio, but now let's see. Tell me if it's muted.
And be there, but like I have my plea hearing coming up on the 24th. Everything's all kind of worked out, and then at some point after that, I have sentencing.
Tasha,
and
thank you very much.
Between like now and
so there'll be another Nick stream this week, probably at the end of the week, to see what happens in the plea deal. And there's a big question, a big W, well, not W, a big question mark. Why did I say W? Is the body cam going to come out? Because if he pleads guilty and the body cam goes into evidence, it's available to the public, and Josh Moon can receive the body cam after it has been censored. So even if the body cam is available on Friday, which I believe is the 24th, it would still be 10 business days at least for them to censor it, unless they've preemptively censored it. But since they haven't accepted money from Josh Moon, I don't think that's the case. The question is, did Nick somehow get the body cam suppressed as part of his plea deal? That's what we don't know. So we'll have to wait and see.
My sentencing hearing, I have the opportunity to fuck up my deal because, like, so the way it works out is you work out an agreement with the prosecutor.
Yeah.
And the prosecutor goes,
So you're saying he has a chance to fuck up his deal. What are the odds of that, chat? I mean, if he's just got his lawyer does the work, he'll be fine. If he tries to add his special touch, then we're in trouble, which means more content. The Last Imperial with £2 says, was it awkward with Nick and in Jeff's memorial stream? No, it wasn't, because I didn't even know he was there. I joined the stream. The stream, so StreamYard has a limit of 10 people. So when the stream started, I wanted to join earlier because I had stuff to do that day. But it was like 10 people filled up immediately, so I had to kind of wait for a spot. So I was checking back every 10-30 minutes. When I saw there was 9 people, I jumped in the backyard or whatever of the StreamYard, and I joined. And I was on the stream for like 30 minutes before I even noticed Nick was there, because he was too cowardly to even turn on his mic, and he's too cowardly to turn on his camera, probably because he was whipping galaxy gas in the background. He sounded like he was sloshed out of his mind. But I'm not going to start drama on a memorial stream. Like, that would be ridiculous. I think he was totally cowed by Sean's presence there anyway. And to be honest, like, I feel like that's like, it's like a sanctified ground or whatever, right? Like, it's like holy ground. There's no fighting here. So I didn't even notice he was there until he said goodbye, basically. And then I was just like, okay, cheers, whatever. It's nice that you can say goodbye to your friend, because I do think that he's sad about Jeff departing, obviously. But it was I don't know why he was there. I felt like, to be honest, I feel like just waiting there, mic off, camera off. He's just using up a slot, because like 30 people wanted to go on that stream. So by him being there, he was taking a spot from somebody else that could have came in and said their goodbyes. Like, maybe I wouldn't be able to come on and say my goodbyes on that stream if Nick was using up that last spot. I don't know. And a lot of people weren't. It's not like everyone was talking and talking and talking and talking, right? So where people were taking breaks, sort of thing, and people just hanging out. But if he's not going to do anything, then just get the fuck out. It was my sort of thoughts. But yeah.
okay, well, like, we agree to this. And my agreement with the prosecutor is fine. It's all good. But the judge orders a pre-sentence investigation for any felony conviction. And what they're going to do is, I'll have to go do some interviews and stuff like that. But they'll look around, like they'll look into you and go, okay, are you serious about this plea? Which I think is kind of bullshit, because, like, well, I wouldn't have made the plea if I wasn't serious. And I'm kind of an unserious person in general. So, like, I tell jokes online.
I'm not sure that's a good thing to say if you're trying to be like professional lawyer man or something. Like, I'm an unserious person by nature. Let me handle your court case. I mean, obviously Nick says he doesn't want to be a lawyer, and he's not right now, because he has to fill in his CLE requirements until he can actually practice again. He's been not disbarred, but he's been taken off the bench. Well, he's not even on the bench. Sorry. He's back in the crowds now. Unfortunate. Robert Glock with under 10. Thank you very much. Says, Whippet's worst intoxicant for your brain. Holocaust brain cells, brain damage from galaxy gas. YouTube by Violent MD goes into history of nitrous abuse, including Humphrey Davy and 19th century aristocracy. Well, I don't know anything about that, but I don't do any of that shit. I think it was very funny that people were doing galaxy gas whips on Nick Fuentes' front lawn. That was pretty funny. But it's so sad, right? If he, like, let's assume it is all true, and we have no reason to distrust it right now. If Nick was doing galaxy gas, then that means he was lying once again. He's like, well, if you don't want to do drugs, you just stop. In the background, like, it just stands for nothing, and he believes in nothing except his above all else, which is kind of funny because, like, he has fallen to the wheels of Slaanesh, I suppose.
Like I embrace things that other people like might not or whatever. I don't live in shame of my decisions, even the bad ones. Like I made my bad decisions, and guys, a shitload of really, really bad decisions. They hurt people I really care about, not in the ways
Got an F. No, I'm back. Okay. Maybe I rubbed it out for a second. I'm not sure. I think my internet, yeah, it's reconnecting. Here we go. Is it back? Nick will say that his actions cause no harm to anyone. I was just having fun, causing no harm. If that's true, why did your family life get destroyed and the police took away? It's like, well, this is the cause and this was the effect. There's no connection between the two of these. It annoys me so much. It's so frustrating. It didn't hurt anyone until the government busts down my door because I'm cocaine and have, oh my God, is it bugging out again? Maybe, I don't know. Pay your NHK fees? No, not pay my NHK fees. I actually don't give a shit if people do drugs. But you can't do drugs the way Nick was doing, especially when you have to be responsible for family. Let's say the internet's a bit touchy. It should be fine. It should be fine in a few minutes. In and out? Okay. But how, yeah, exactly. But how does this affect you personally? Exactly.
It didn't hurt people like because I caused them harm.
Yes, you did. The police coming in and taking kids away from their family home, not feeling secure because the doors can be busted down anytime. That is harming your children. And those are direct cause from what you did, your lifestyle. You brought the drugs into your house and you invited the police into your house by being so flamboyant and flagrant about it on live streams. If you wanted to do them off stream, that's a different thing entirely. But you would try. I feel like he was trying to get caught with how obvious he was being. Does everyone else think the same? I don't know.
I knew about consequences that were possible. And those consequences that I don't agree with from a principled standpoint as a libertarian, but those consequences, I knew about them and they caused harm. And that really sucks. Like, I have to deal.
Yeah, that really sucks. That's a fun way of describing being taken away from your parents. That really sucks. Yeah, no, that kind of sucks. When the cops bust down your house and take you away from your family, that kind of sucks. Yeah, it kind of does. Right. I can see that.
With that for the rest of my life, that I harmed some of the people who were closest to me. And like, that's a product of me losing control of who I am and what I was doing, not really thinking things through because I was too busy focusing on shit like fun and what I considered fun and freedom. And it's like, well, but fun and freedom, like, those aren't always appropriate responses, right? But when you get hooked on them, you just do them. So I did that. Like, I know I'm willing to like laugh and joke about it now because my kids are home. They love the shit out of me. My wife and I like love the shit out of each other. And
I'm gonna press X to doubt on that one. They love the wife so much, right? Love her so much that you have to swing and have to have a second wife in the second house.
We're all just so happy to be together and put 2024 behind us. Like, it happened. So now I'm like, I'll say a joke. Like, people are like, didn't you give your daughter cocaine? I'm like, no, just me. And they're like, oh my God, how can you talk so casually? I'm like, it's just the truth. I don't know. Like, what do you want?
Now, I think, like, even if we believe Nick will go on to talk about how his theory is that the cop had cocaine on their glove and then they touched the daughter's hair. That's still giving your daughter cocaine. That's exposing her to cocaine because it's your cocaine that the police came to collect because of your actions and that it got exposed to your daughter. So, Nick, you're still responsible for that. that situation only exists because of you. Yeah, the government came. If the government didn't exist, they wouldn't have been able to do that. Sure, but you invited them in. You're responsible. It's your cocaine in the house that's exposing the children. It's not the cops bringing it in. Now, he claims that the body cam proves this, but even if it does, that doesn't make it any better in my point of view. And there's still no reasonable explanation for this. Now, Nick has made some coping and explainings about it, but it doesn't make sense. And we reviewed that in the previous stream.
I did a bunch of coke. Like, I'm not doing coke now. Don't get me wrong. I'm a libertarian. I think coke should be legal. And if it were, I'd be...
Now, I know this is a bad take, but I actually agree that you probably could just decriminalize or make cocaine legal. But that doesn't matter. If it's legal or illegal, it doesn't matter. He was using it in such a way that was so responsible that he has to feel bad for this. He has to be responsible for this. It's the same thing with alcohol. If you destroy your family's life with alcohol, to me, it's no different than destroying your family's life with cocaine. And I know some people disagree with me in chat. I'm fairly libertarian myself. That's my point of view about it. I don't give a shit if you're getting fucked up by yourself, but if you're getting fucked up and destroying other people's lives that people that can't walk away, children can't walk away from you. They're minors. They have no way to make their way in the world. That's fucked up.
Doing it, but it's not. I made mistakes about while it was illegal. I knew it was, and like that shit has fallout. So, but I can't undo that. Like, so for me, it's just you go ahead, you be honest about what you did, but have a...
Are you seriously saying be honest about what you did? He's the most honest man. Oh my goodness.
little levity from it because it was a really shitty time and now is a lot better. But
Right.
that even like this thing I just said could in theory be taken by the judge. He can go, I don't care what deal you have, you're not serious. I'm like, no, I'm very fucking serious. I'm super sorry. But like he could just say, no, you need to do whatever. Like this sentencing that you've agreed to isn't sufficient. So I'm just trying to kind of avoid that because you know, I'm getting the punishment that I think is probably appropriate. Even though I don't agree in principle.
I kind of feel like he's not wrong about this. Like, I actually don't want to see him go to prison because I would lose $20. But it seems like he's had a pretty, he's been shook by this situation. So I kind of feel like this is kind of what he deserves. I know some people obviously disagree with that as well. But, I mean, he's gone through a lot of hell. He's responsible for it. I kind of feel like it is the time for him to try and rebuild his life. But I guess we can decide what he actually got, what he deserved after we find out the details. Hopefully this week at the end of the week on Friday, after the plea deal comes out. But what do you guys think? We'll have to see. Because I mean, him going to prison isn't a good result for the family. I think the kids should be around their biological parents. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I feel like he kind of got what he deserved. You get what you fucking deserve. Sporkmaster celebrating their first live stream on the first super chat live stream says with 10, I guess the Hong Kong dollars, lolcows are fantastic anti-drug PSAs. To be honest, we talked about this in a previous stream. Is that those old like an ancient meme, demotivator poster. These are a pretty good meme back in the day, like back in the early internet when it was all like macro images and everything. And this is the one that reminds me of Nick and Ralph to an extent as well. And this one says, if you're listening, mistakes. Maybe your only purpose in life is to serve as a warning to others. Perhaps. This is a classic one. If you guys remember this meme, then you're an old boy like me. Much appreciated for the donations tonight. Big support.
He's looking wicked.
Thanks, man. I got it finally finished.
Oh, sorry. That's the Alyssa clip that we don't need this one. There we go.
The law should be this way. I'm not a dumbass. I know what the law is, and I know.
All right, there's two parts of this. There's two falsities we just heard. He's not a dumbass, objectively untrue, and he knows the law. Well, no. It turns out that no, he doesn't know the law. That's why all of his problems exist.
No, I broke it. I broke it really hard. But I also know what I didn't do. You know, and that's the thing. There's a bunch of shit that that in the process of all this during the investigation there were allegations. In those allegations,
he knows what he didn't do. More attractive women. That's his only regret.
Came from very impure sources about what I did. It's like, but
the sources were impure, unlike the cocaine that he was sniffing. It was the finest of the finest. I assume he's talking about Aaron, and I believe that Aaron's testimony is I'm sure it's got a lot of Guild and Lydia, a sure of falsehoods in it as well, but it's the most reputable source that we have. It's kind of funny because people say that I glaze Aaron, and I routinely call him a piece of shit and the shiniest turd in the bowl. And they're like, you call him the shiniest turd. That must mean you like him. I'm calling him a piece of shit. I'm not toe guarding over here. But I mean, Aaron was the best in the bunch. You have to admit that, I think. It's either Aaron or Kayla, I think. But Kayla's just like malicious compliance, malicious non-compliance, because she just didn't do anything. But in a way, that's her own, because she's responsible as a mother. That's her own cross to bear. But it's either Aaron or Kayla.
I didn't do any of that, and they
People are
don't
too
believe I
stupid to
did any of that
understand
now either. But the internet's a different story. So I'm happy to cop to what I did. Like, I had a bunch of drugs. I thought drugs were awesome. I still do. That's why people do them.
I still think drugs are awesome. He's learned nothing. There's no remorse here. There's no accountability. He hasn't learned anything. He's not sorry about what he did. He's sorry he got caught. Drugs are still awesome. He'd be doing drugs right now if he could. And I mean, it doesn't bode well for the future. If he's still saying drugs are awesome, I don't think it's going to be too long before he falls off the wagon. I hope he doesn't. I hope he does figure it out. You know, if the Ricada streams are very popular, obviously, if they come to an end, I'll be I'll be fine. I'll be fine. This isn't my main source of income. It's a fun little hobby that I hope you guys enjoy as well. But, I think it's best for everyone if he just gets his shit together, hopefully.
Drugs are awesome. People wouldn't do them if they weren't, but...
What? Drugs are awesome? People wouldn't do them if they're not. Meth addict. Hold on a second. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is a good trigger warning for a second. I'm going to show you some fucked up shit. All right, here we go. This will do. This one's not too bad. This is the face. This is the face of the before and after. This is the face of the person that tells you that drugs are great. People wouldn't do drugs if they weren't great. No, they do drugs because they're chemically addictive, you twat. Drugs are awesome. Why would people do drugs? Like 10 out of 10 crack addicts can't be wrong about drugs. Like, what are you talking about, you lunatic? Oh my gosh.
They're illegal, and that legality has really fucking dangerous consequences. So don't do drugs. Like, no matter what you feel about them, don't do them. But maybe
man that's whiffing galaxy gas, don't do drugs. Okay.
Advocate for political change or whatever if you feel like it, or don't. Who cares? Just do your normal life. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, you're good. Did this newfound like getting over the hump? Was it brought on by Aaron offering to coach you and train you in boxing?
Yeah, actually. Dude, so we got to get back to this. I saw you talking about this. I know this is this thing. Someone decided to email the gym, and Aaron had a fucking meltdown because he knows.
All right, so there's a bit of a backstory here. Is that Melton is trying to prove that Aaron is not a boxing coach, and he may very well not be. And he's emailing the boxing gyms, and they're all saying that Aaron is just a fraud. But then Aaron is saying that he's not a fraud and that he's like totally accurate. So it depends who you like. If you like Aaron, you'll believe Aaron. If you like Melton, you'll like Melton. And you should probably be going toe first into a toe chipper. A wood chipper. But that's the situation that stands. There's no way to really prove it either way. But it's pretty silly and spurgery.
The reality. I have been to the gym. Kayla and I would go join April and Aaron up at the gym a couple times. We had a good time going up there, and the gym is super great. Scott, like the guy who sends the emails, super nice guy. Love him. He runs a nice gym, and he had two people who were regulars who were there quite often. Gave them keys because they were trustworthy for a bit, right? I have been there to watch Aaron be a live punching bag for people. But I've also been there while Aaron's like asking, hey, can I corner so-and-so? And they're like, and he's like, as a third, because you have like two corner guys who are in the ring.
So Nick's about to tell you about his incredible boxing acumen, and he knows all of the details, and he knows the secret nerve Vulcan neck pinch technique to knock you out in one go. So I really want to see the Nick versus Aaron boxing match. I think it'd be fantastic. But just remember that Nick's such a good fighter. He went to sign up for Taekwondo and he came back as a male cheerleader.
And those people have to be like licensed and sanctioned by USA Boxing or whatever. I guess I don't know. I don't fucking care about boxing, but they have to be licensed and sanctioned. And the third guy can sit outside the ring and like kind of help and yell stuff, but they can't come in. They can't like give water and sit there while they're doing it. They can kind of sit behind him. And so Aaron has to even be a third, and he was always rejected over and over again. And he kept like, he always had a fight coming up, and I was like,
I mean, think about it though. If Aaron's such a loser, why are you and Kayla going to the gym to watch him? Why is Kayla getting fucked by Aaron if he's such a loser? This doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, Aaron is so bad at boxing, they just went there to go like lick his sweat off the towels, and then Kayla could get like filled up with his seed, the toe seed. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, is Minnesota that boring? I mean, I can understand if you're doing drugs there. I guess if all you have to do for entertainment in Minnesota is to go watch people fight at the boxing gym. I don't know.
Bro, can I be your third? That'd be funny. Like, I want to go. Like, I MMA was my hobby. Like, I'm not a boxer, but like I know what fighting's about a little bit. I've had my own like unofficial like fighting stuff. I'm not a dude who's out here challenging people to fight.
The only fighting he's had is at the male cheerleader underwear parties that he literally said on his stream that they did. It's awesome being a male cheerleader because you get to meet hot chicks, and then all the stories he have is other male cheerleaders having underwear parties, no girls allowed in the bedroom. Okay, buddy.
Fight. I'm a fucking 43-year-old man. I don't want to fight anybody in my life.
I thought he was older than 43.
Because plus I have a nose the size of Israel. So I definitely don't want to get hit in the face and have it broken. But like I get it. Like I can tell you, oh hey, by the way, you're getting tagged by his jab every single time. Like you got to watch out for the overhand right. Get your fucking hands up, you pussy. And with Aaron, like he cannot get his hands up.
Thank you.
He's flat-footed. He's a big guy who has no cardio. So you can imagine, like he's not up there bouncing around.
Nick ran one marathon and then got a heat allergy. His body was so adversely affected by running and going outside and breathing real air and touching grass that now he's perpetually disabled with a heat allergy, that if literally an allergy to working. But Aaron has no cardio. Okay, buddy. I mean, when Ralph was allegedly going to box Aaron in Minnesota, Aaron posted a video of himself, sweating in the gym. The only place that Nick has ever been sweating is when he's licking Aaron's ear on live stream. So
throwing jabs and stuff. He's flat-footed, and you can watch his boxing footage. You don't have to rely on me. He's flat-footed. He's exhausted immediately, and he has effectively no punching power. His shoulders are the only shoulders.
Did you hear that? He said no punching powder. Not no punching power, no punching powder. Freudian slip, perhaps? Listen again. Listen very closely. He's thinking about coke right now.
And he has effectively no punching powder.
No punching powder. Oopsie daisy.
Shoulders are the only shoulders that mine might rival. Like mine are pathetic, I know. But he's a much bigger guy. He's about an inch taller than me, and he outweighs me by, I don't know, 60 pounds.
Wait. So he says that Aaron is 1 inch taller than him. Didn't Aaron say that he was 6'3"? Nick claimed he was 6'3" before. Now I am 6'3". I am 191 centimeters tall. So I am 6'3". I know what 6'3" is. Okay. So if Aaron is 6'3", unless Aaron is 6'4", like secretly 6'4", I don't know. Maybe we need to get Aaron to confirm or deny this. But if Aaron is 6'3", and Nick claimed that he was 6'3", and he's an inch shorter than Aaron, that means he was lying. He was so what is the word? Ashamed of being not as tall as he could be that he lied. I don't know. We'll have to check on that. It's not an important detail, but he says that he's 6'3". I mean, he's not a short guy. He looks short on stream, but he's not a short guy. There's pictures of him in like at Anime Matsuri and stuff, and he's a tall guy. But if he's lying about being 6'3", that's very funny. Like he just has to add an inch. That'd be very, very funny.
Do you think you can still beat him though?
I don't know. Like man, I am not a person who has thrown knockout punches. Neither is Aaron. But he's not like, that's not a slam. The guy's 0-2 in boxing. He lost both rounds both fights in first round.
All right. Well, hold on a second. We'll go back in a second. But Danielle says Daniel says, I've stood next to Nick. Here's the thing, Danielle. Women are not a reputable source about how high a man is because women have spent their entire life being lied to about how tall someone is or how long someone is. So women have no idea what 6'3" or over 6 foot is. If you think that most of the guys you've met that are over 6 feet are probably like 5'8". It's just the way it is. Like a man never tells the truth to a woman about how tall they are. So, I mean, if he's tall, let me know. Like, unless you're 6'3" also, and you can, or you're some sort of like savant with measurements or something, then I can't take your word for it. I know you'll report it honestly as you see it, but your perception has been warped by other men that have lied to you your entire life about how tall they are.
Round decisions, and so I know he's not throwing knockout punches, but I'm not either. I'm not like some super skilled guy or even moderately skilled guy. I know like a little bit of jiu-jitsu and judo, and like that's the type of sparring I did with my friends back in high school and college. I've never sat and boxed. Boxing is an extremely intense sport. Anybody who's never tried to throw punches, like just throw hands for 3 minutes, it's fucking hard and it's exhausting.
Yeah,
And you
don't realize, man.
So it's hard and exhausting, but you were so entertained by Aaron doing this that you went to go watch him. You brought your wife, and then she went and licked up his sweating coom. Okay, buddy.
It's I'll work the heavy bag at my gym. I've been doing that for cardio for a long time, and I'm like blitzed after a 5-minute timer. I'm blitzed. I can barely stand.
Yeah,
and it's just
because it's super focused, right? Like so many punches. Like I know your punching power comes from your whole body, rotation of the hips, and incorporating that into your throws. Blah 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 blah. But so many of the punches you throw in a boxing match are not full body punches. You're throwing things for entire 3 to 5 minute rounds, depending on what you're doing. You're doing that with your shoulders, your traps, and that's it. And those on a guy like me, those are really small muscles, right? But even on a guy like you, they're like you have big traps and big shoulders. They gas out immediately because that's your only muscle group in doing it. You don't have the support of.
So actually, I think I remember seeing Camelot say that he thought he couldn't beat Aaron in a fight because fighting and weightlifting are very different. Obviously, Camelot is much, much stronger than Aaron, but he probably has very, very little stamina, especially in something like boxing. Because this is true that like the more muscle you have, the more energy you expend. Now he's since come back and said that he would destroy Aaron in the ring. So this is a good fault. Like if Aaron can't fight Nick, why doesn't he fight Camelot? I mean, I think Aaron has basically said that he's happy to spar with basically anyone that shows up. And Camelot has said that he would fight Aaron in the ring. So why not just have that? That'd be fun. I mean, Camelot's shorter, but Aaron is more experienced. So it should be interesting. It'd be an interesting matchup, I think.
Like, your quads or your hamstrings, you don't have the support of your triceps or biceps even. You don't have your big muscle groups in throwing those punches. So you have to sit and like to train for boxing, you have to sit there and just hit a heavy bag, just jabs over and over for out.
He's fight explaining the internet now. Wait until you hear about his 5-point palm exploding heart technique that he knows.
Like minutes at a time, but hopefully building up to a significant amount of time to do it, or you're going to gas out. Guys, Aaron goes to the gym 1 day a week, maybe.
I mean, that's still better than what you do. Like if Aaron goes to the gym there's a Freudian slip for me there. The drink, I said. If Aaron goes to the gym, I did it again. If Aaron goes to the gym 1 time a week, that's still better than 0. Holy shit.
And I say maybe because he skips the gym all the time. And when he goes there, I've never seen this dude work a heavy bag. I've seen him get in the ring, get worked over by
the only heavy bag he was working was Nick's wife. Sikalova with a 5 Singaporean dollar says, just tell Rokada to release Wilshire Boulevard to his 5K subscriber gift. Also, Koreans call sushi or their version of it gimbap. Yeah. I actually like Korean sushi. It's pretty tasty. It's tasty in a different way. And I actually had some Korean food today at Costco. In Costco, they don't have the chicken bake or the double chunk chocolate cookie. They've only got the gimbap salmon roll and the bulgogi bake, which is actually delicious. The Korean chicken wrap is pretty good, but I did have that. But I had Korean last week as well. There's actually a place in Osaka called Tsuruhashi, which is like Little Koreatown, and I went there and had some really good samgyeopsal and other things as well. Very tasty. Love Korean food. Love to go back to Korea sometime in the near future.
The sparring partners that he has, he's just a guy for heavyweights to spar with.
So why do you think he challenges everybody to fights?
because he doesn't think they'll do it.
Does Aaron actually challenge people to fights? Like, I don't watch Aaron's show, so I don't actually know this. I think what happens is he just kind of says that he'd be happy to spar with them. I don't think he says, like, I don't think he contacts people and it's like, if you don't like me, then why don't you meet me in the ring? I don't think he ever does that. I think he says, like, people kind of challenge Aaron and he just says, like, sure, I'll do it. At least that's what happened with Ralph. I'm pretty sure that's what happened with Ralph.
That's what I'm saying, because he challenged me and I'm like, I'm a large man. I'm not
sure he challenged Camelot. I think he said he'd be happy to spar with Camelot as like a fun thing. That's not exactly the same as having a fight, at least in my opinion. That's like inviting a friend to go rock climbing with you. It's like, hey, I like bouldering or some shit. Why don't we go do this together? Like, I'm not sure that he's challenging them, but I would love to see Aaron box anyone in the sector of the Baldo-verse. I would love to see him fight Nick. I would love to see him fight Camelot. And I don't see why Camelot can't do it. He's traveling quite a bit. He's in Minnesota for races. He's in Minnesota, but not contacting Nick to hang out with him, which is funny and weird. So that would be great. And it seems like Aaron's down for it. GLM's with another 5 Australian says, I do lift weights every day. I lift my full glass of alcohol many times a night. There you go. So you got those bicep curls, basically. That's good for you. Yeah, I'm trying to get taller, so I go to the gym every day to do leg extensions. It's not working too well for me though so far.
a tall man, but I'm a large man, and I don't think that would end well. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Look, you never know, right? Like, boxing is also the sport of the puncher's chance. You can put a guy my size, I'm about 165 to 170 pounds.
Hold on a second. I've got to find out. That's like 70 kilos, right? 100, what do you say? 160 pounds?
I'm 60. You can put a guy my size, I'm about 165 to 170.
All right, 165. 165 pounds to kilos. That's 74 kilos. That's embarrassing. That's like my overhead press. Holy shit. That's a New Zealand woman weighs that much, okay? I know women that are heavier than this. Quite a lot of them in New Zealand, okay? That's like, I think if you're under 225, especially as a 6'3" man, you're not a man. You're either a twink or you're a beautiful, valid, heckin' valid lady or something. I mean, his tattoo does match. I mean, this kind of makes sense. Like the Nicola Ricada arc has definitely started, I think. I think we got a year before he fully reveals what's happening here.
20 pounds. I'm 6'2". I'm not big. Like, I never have been. I've always had a slender build. Like, you can put me in the ring with Aaron, and I might tag him in the back, like behind the ear or on the chin, turn that head and knock him out.
Nick's got that 5-point palm exploding fist. He's gonna hit Aaron this pressure points. He's gonna give him the Vulcan nerve pinch, and he's gonna take him out. He knows all the details. He's not a fighter, but he knows the special jiu-jitsu moves.
And probably more likely, just due to mass, if nothing else, he could tag me and knock me out too. But anybody has a puncher's chance. Anybody can turn ahead to the side. There, when you're
anybody has a puncher's chance. If a child goes into the ring, he could take out Mike Tyson. I mean, anyone has a chance, right? They're saying there's a chance. You could hit that special pressure point. No, it's fuck off. Come on now. Now, in the fight of Nick versus Aaron, could Nick win? Yeah, sure. Of course he could win. I don't think so, because Aaron has experience and is heavier, and I think that goes to a lot of it. And also, he at least goes to the gym once a week, perhaps more, and that's more than 0, which is what Nick's doing. And Nick also probably has very frail bones because he had a diet that existed of crackers and whiskey. That's not exactly what you need for bone density.
head gets jolted to the side involuntarily, there's a nerve cluster in your neck, and when that thing tips, like a white flashes in your eyes and you drop, there's nothing you can do about it. And you see it in MMA all the time. It's called hitting someone on the button. And you don't have to be big to hit someone.
Hitting someone on the button. Like Aaron was hitting his wife's button. I mean, Nick was hitting Aaron's wife's button as well. They were hitting each other's wife's buttons, and they were licking each other's gravy out of the troughs over there. But yeah, that's the only button those boys have been pushing.
On the button. But the bigger your opponent is, and like the bulkier their neck and fucking traps are, the less likely it's gonna hit. And like you have a build that looks like it can probably throw a punch. I don't know, maybe you're a bitch.
I don't know. I'd beat the hell out of the heavy bag, but it doesn't, fight back.
Right. Generally, I don't think he does either.
Yeah.
But no, he's not going to challenge a guy like you, though. The guys he challenged,
but wait, Nick can't even keep his brain on one conversation. Nick just said Aaron will never challenge a guy like Camelot. But then Camelot said like a minute ago, Aaron challenged me. He can't, like, Nick can't even, he can't even last a minute or two. He can't even keep a single thought. He has no present, past, or future, as Nick would say.
Challenges by name, me, Carl from Who Are These Podcasts. And like,
Carl?
look,
Who's Carl?
I like Carl just fine, but Carl's like not a big guy at all and not overtly physical or athletic. And he's older than I am. I don't know how old he is, but he's got to be into his upper 40s. And he challenges Patrick Melton. Now, Melton's a big motherfucker. He's apparently...
This is very true. Like, I'm not sure who's fatter, Melton or Ethan Van Sciver. But, like, let me go into my records. I think I've still got this somewhere. Let me see. I have to scroll up a bit. I have to go through a lot of this, actually. Maybe I don't have any more. But he's got, like, the Dr. Eggman build. Here it is. This is the Melton build. Look at this. What am I looking at here? Like, I literally don't understand how this works. I need like a pre-med student, because I can't afford a real doctor, to explain this to me. Like, how does the spine work here? Like, how does this make sense? Does this make sense to anyone? This is like a cryptid, you know? Like, look. Because surely the spine has to pivot here. This is what I don't understand. Is there has to be a pivot point here, right? So is this how it works? But then the shoulders are like here? This is actual like Lovecraftian horrors beyond my imagination. I don't understand how the skeleton works. I can only assume that this is like, he's some sort of alien and he's got like a little dude inside the fat suit, like here. And this is like Dr. Robotnik's, like, he's like controlling it with like gears and cogs and shit. And this is like the seat, like kind of like that's like the little seat and the little dude, it like attaches to his head here. This is how I understand it. I like this. I just can't even comprehend this physique. Anyway, I mean, yeah, he's a big dude.
like 350, 400 pounds and like 6'4", 6'5".
That's
Aaron
pretty
thinks
tall,
he'll
though.
die
That's
from
pretty tall.
cardiac arrest in the ring. It's like, dude, you have never had a 400-pound person hit you, and I pray to God you don't, because like you might die from it. There's just so much mass behind it. But I don't know if Melton can actually throw a punch.
This is a worm physique. I will agree. This is he does look like he's covered in trout or something like that.
And like, not all fat guys have zero cardio where they'll die. It's a lot harder to maintain. Like, the bigger you are, it's obviously a lot harder to maintain any sort of cardio in the ring or otherwise. But like, there are big dudes out there who have done just fine.
Wait, I guarantee you Wings would drop Aaron.
This is total cope. That like Wings or Boogie could beat Aaron in a fight. There's no fucking way. They could barely get into the ring by themselves. Like, I know that the speed is like a meme sort of thing, but it literally, Aaron could, like, fuck, now we're going to be accused of glazing Aaron again. There is no way that Aaron would lose that fight. I guarantee it. He'd just walk around him and go behind him and push him over. Wings can't turn around that fast. And I like Wings. He's fine. Like, I think the Wings has had a real redemption arc. But like, saying that like Boogie or Wings, Boogie couldn't even beat the battle of keeping his pants up in the ring. And he's going to somehow beat a guy that actually does boxing. No way.
Oh yeah, I would.
He was
Dude, I
moving.
would not want to fight like a Boogie or a Wings. Like, aside from their personalities, if those guys get in the ring and they lay a hand on you, you got to remember their arms weigh 60 pounds. Right? These are fat
Coke
ass
kills brain
dudes.
cells.
And
So
you
does
throw
Galaxy
a 60-pound anvil at someone and connect, it's over for most people.
This is just insane. I watched the fight between Boogie and Wings. I can guarantee you those punches are not doing any damage. The only reason Nick thinks that these cause damage is because he's got a skeletal osteoporosis physique that would be destroyed by the lightest feather touch.
People, you're not prepared for that. And they're bulky enough that if you can get in and get a clean shot on them, you're unlikely to turn their heads. You're unlikely to snap that nerve tissue because they got a lot of meat.
It's just
And it's
pure.
it's why
pure
Butterbean was such a fucking good fighter, right? Like,
He was
Butterbean wasn't a
awesome.
good fighter. He didn't even move like a human. He moved like a Hormel lamb. But the dude, when he threw that hand and connected with people, it's a one-hitter quitter because
Yeah, Butterbean is... I've never seen Butterbean before, I'll admit. I just looked him up. This is obviously a guy that trained That's the difference. The only thing Boogie trains is faking cancer and buying Mountain Dew and getting his girlfriend to mow his lawn. Boogie is not Butterbean. Come on now.
Thing's got a fucking.
This is a good one. This is a good one. Man's talking out of his in hole. Yeah, very good.
Mack truck behind it.
Yeah, and the thing is, when I saw the Wings and Boogie fight, that's what I basically conflated Boogie with Aaron, because when I watched Aaron fight, he just stood there and got destroyed. And he threw like one jab, and then he just died. I'm like, what is he doing?
People keep telling they're like, you shouldn't talk about other people like or their physiques or whatever. I'm like, look, I'm not even shit talking him. The guy will shit talk himself. He says he needs to cut 10 pounds. He says he's 225, needs to drop to 215. I watched him do that truffle shuffle. He's easily 235. His stomach is bifurcating right now. You can look.
This is ridiculous. Like, I said this on the last stream, but I want to know what fat chick turned down Nick that gave him such a hate boner for fat people. What I think happened is that Nick's high school like love was a fatty, and she turned him down because Nick wasn't her type. She probably liked the more athletic guys. And because of that, he's been holding on to this animosity towards fat people for his entire time, which is kind of ironic because he does have a pretty flabby body. Like, he has actual anorexia. Or manorexia, I guess, right? What makes you think it was a fat chick? It's just a gut feeling. Like, he has such hatred. Usually when someone has such hatred for some sort of type, it's because they're in love with someone like that and they got turned down by them. It's just experience, basically. Not that I was turned down by a fat chick or anything. Michael Thompson with a $9 says, osteoporosis physique. Very true. Very true and real. Like, I think I actually saw something like diets of just cocaine, galaxy gas, crackers, and whiskey. I'm pretty sure that just leaches minerals and calcium out of the bones. So he probably is going to have, like, Nick's going to sit down one day and have like a hip break or something. I don't know.
You can go watch the truffle shuffle video that he did, and you can see it. His stomach looks like an illustrated cat's mouth, right?
Oh.
It comes down to his belly button, and then it's got these two droopy sides that come down on their own. It's bifurcating. Dude is easily 235. He listed the stuff he bought for food, and it's all trash. It's pizza rolls and wheat thins, man.
Unlike the $3,000 on snacks Nick bought, what Aaron's eating is just trash.
Oh no, like, he's got the gun.
He's working on it. He's working on it. And again, and you look at him, you look at his arms, you look at his shoulders, and you go, well, there's not really muscle definition there. I am not a big muscular guy. I have not worked out in probably 7 months, right? Like, but here's the thing. Like, I know what it looks like.
What was Nick doing 7 months? Was it 7 months ago when he was in prison? Well, I guess it was jail. It wasn't really prison, right? What was he doing 7 months ago? What was that? Yeah, that'd be right around the time he was like, well, I guess the kids have been taken away with that, because they were taken away in May, right? So maybe, yeah, he actually could have been when he was in county jail.
When you have muscle definition, and I know when you have none, because I've done both. I've been both places. He doesn't have shoulders. He doesn't have biceps. He doesn't have triceps. For being a big guy, it's all carried right here. He's 37, man. I remember that. You start to lose it. Your testosterone goes down, your body fat goes up, and it goes right to your belly. It's a thing almost every guy on earth will go through unless you specifically train against it. And
this isn't true. If you just keep a active lifestyle, you can avoid these things happening. Yeah, you're going to lose your test levels as you get older. That's obviously going to happen. But if you just don't spend all day sitting down, like at a 9 to 5, like if you actually stand up, if you work out for maybe 30 minutes to an hour a day, you can actually avoid all of this happening. It's actually just cope. It's just an inevitability, right? Just like the inevitability is the cops coming to pick you up again.
He doesn't. I knew this man. I hung out with this man almost every day for a fucking 6 months, and he didn't train ever, except for the couple times we went to the gym. That's not training, though. That's just going to the gym. And again, I've never seen him on a heavy bag. I've never seen him on a weight set. I saw him get in the ring and spar and get fucking worked by the people he's sparring with, and then basically tell him, look, like, you need to work on your footwork a little bit. Not all of his advice is bad or anything. It's like the type of advice I would give, or anybody else. Guy acts like he's a fucking Golden Gloves coach. Like, man, you are not telling anyone how to throw advanced hands at all. You're telling people how to move around a little bit, to not rush in because you got to watch for counters and to keep your damn hands up. Everybody can say that.
Yeah, I agree. And I was hoping somebody would go fight him, and then I saw the emails from the gym owner or whatever, and they're like, he has never been asked to be a coach. And then Aaron pulls up like a receipt of his non-athlete membership and says that's what he is a coach. And I'm like, what? They made him registered as a non-athlete member, but it doesn't mean he's a coach. It was very, very interesting. Matt, thanks, by the way, for that. Pink boy, good to see you.
I assume that this could just be that he's talked about coaching colloquially, but I don't know. I think this is getting a bit dry, so we're going to take a bit of a break. We'll come back to this because I do want to get through all of this. Also, I'm just going to move my Trump thing over here because I do want to see when the inauguration begins. But I think that's not for another 2 hours or so, so it's probably going to be a long stream. But I'm just going to try and lighten the mood a little bit, and if something does happen with the inauguration, be sure to tell me. But there's something I wanted to show you. So we're going to go over to Alyssa Clip's channel. I'm going to like this video, as you should have liked this video already, my one. And this is Alex Stein's best friends with Aaron Eamholt and Nick Rekieta. So I don't know what's got into Alex Stein, but he's doing some very funny stuff. He went on Fish Tank and he talked about Nick Rekieta, and now he's going to talk to Nick Rekieta at the Dallas Police Commission. So this is only 4 minutes. We'll go into this for a bit of a palate cleanser. Then we'll go back to the boring conversation.
We do have online.
This is pretty good.
Stein.
This is pretty funny.
Alex Stein. Is there an Alex Stein online?
Yes.
Okay. Could we type in Mr. Stein? And thank you for joining us, Mr. Stein.
I'm going to make this full screen for a second.
Let's see. Oh, there you are. Okay, I can see you. Thank you for being here. And whenever you start, I'll start the timer. You have 3 minutes, and we appreciate your comments and love to hear from you.
Hey guys, I just want to say my name is Alex Stein. I'm a longtime resident, a very good friend of mine named Aaron Eamholt. He's a broadcaster that's based in Minnesota, and he recently got into a legal disagreement with a guy named Nick Rekieta, who is a YouTube streamer. He's the Atticus Finch of online legal analysis.
Atticus, what the fuck is he talking about?
What happened was these two guys started swapping each other's wives. So Steel Toe Morning Show, he started sleeping with this other guy's.
It's another win for the toe. Like, how is this not another win for the toe? It's crazy. He's getting so much free advertising. It's insane.
Right, they did a swap. Now, what happened was when they broke up, Aaron had a nude picture. So listen to this. Aaron had a nude picture of Nick Rekieta's wife. Her name is Kayla Rekieta, and he shared it to a comedian named Gino Bisconte. Gino Bisconte.
Even Gino is getting some W's out here.
Now, my question is this. Aaron Eamholt has been charged with a revenge porn crime. Now, he sent this to an individual privately. He didn't post this at their work. He didn't post this, to a forum where everybody could see it. I'm a little worried that something like this might happen to me because I play it loose and fast. There's all kinds of new pictures of me leaked all over the internet doing all kinds of embarrassing stuff that I'm ashamed that I've even done. But I'm worried if somebody shares that, will Dallas prosecute the same that they do in Kandiyohi County, Minnesota? They are prudent. And listen, Nick Rekieta's 9-year-old daughter, in this whole fiasco got busted for a dirty analysis for cocaine. So those guys are on cocaine and they're wife swapping, they're taking ecstasy. I'm just worried. I don't want to get caught up in this sort of situation, and I don't want somebody to send a picture of me in a vulnerable position and cause me.
Hopefully it's not a position with his ankles by his ears.
Issue. So can I get a guarantee from the Dallas Police Department that if somebody does try to do any sort of revenge pornography on me, that they will actually punish that perpetrator to the fullest extent of the law? Because like I said, I've lost trust because of the Arturo Martinez, and then my best friend Nick Rekieta and Aaron Eamholt, their lives are crumbling. He's charged with possession of cocaine, one's charged with revenge porn. I just don't want to get caught up in all this. And I just, I like that now you can just legally smoke marijuana in Dallas. That's pretty cool. So you guys better be very chill. I know you guys like to pull over Latino guys and black dudes and say they're on weed when they're not, but then their friend left to join in there and you guys arrest them. So no more of that. Just let him have a Snoop Dogg 420 session. Do not be all uptight. And Chief Garcia is leaving. I'm going to miss Chief Garcia. He had all those tattoos. Kind of made me a little suspect of, what he's doing with all that. But long story short, I just want these people, if they ever potentially share a picture of me spreading it wide open, that you guys will attack that perpetrator to the fullest extent.
Thank you, Mr. Stein. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Your comments been heard. Appreciate your presence here. Thank you so much.
It's they have to listen to 3 minutes of garbage about wife swapping and kids being infected by cocaine and stuff, and then they're just like, "Thank you very much, Mr. Stein." They got to listen to the trolls and then just say thank you. It's so funny. Professional yapper, perhaps. This is very funny. This is at the Dallas Police Commission.
God bless America.
If I can just add something, publishing or threatening to publish an intimate visual image is a felony in the state of Texas.
Well, thank you. See, I didn't know that. I'm all good. Thank you. Thank you. Even the threat of it.
Yes.
Even the threat. Okay, good. Thank you. The guy was good.
All right. That's a Stein W. That's pretty funny. I like how he's decided to make Nick Rekieta's wife swapping fiasco and coke bust international news by any means necessary. So he's done this on Fish Tank as well. Tried to explain it, and everybody he explains it to hates it. They don't want to listen to the story, but he keeps pushing it as like a an unfunny meme. It's very good, very good. All right, going back to Nick and Camelot. There's some other things I want to show you tonight as well.
Nick and Camelot 3, 2, 1 to go. Thank you, Master Lines. I love you. Going hard on my boy today. Thank you, Master. For the pink
Thank you,
boy,
Master Lines.
one red from a rainbow. Nice. So you have a what's your plans after sentencing? Like, do you?
All right, we're gonna see. This is the big comeback announcements and everything, and the 5K locals, I suppose.
You're gonna come back stream. What do you think you're doing?
Yeah, so my plan has been to come back streaming for a while. What I find that you were kind of illustrating.
So Nick's last stream was in August. That's how bad it was. It was summer. It was summer when he did a stream, and it was not a great one.
It excellently. It's really fucking intimidating if you haven't done it for a bit.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, some of my actions brought upon like all the shit that I've done, I had to deal with this past year, and like I know that, which is fine. Like I made peace with it. I'm taking alcohol out of my show and stuff like that because of because it was a crutch, and it didn't make a good show, but it made me able to get through the show. So what I've decided for me is I need to eliminate the things that I was using a crutch to.
Like, you think about that, like he's literally saying, I can't get through work without being drunk. YouTubing is one of the most fun jobs imaginable. You work for your own hours. You get big gains. Like he made what, $1.4 million in super chats, but that was too much work for him to sit in his living room, in his bunker, get other people to do the work for him and drink whiskey. Drinking whiskey was so stressful for him. He couldn't take it. He couldn't even, the whiskey was too hard. He had to do Coke as well. Holy shit.
Overcome.
Yeah, he has to
And
put
that's
the fries in
personal
the
stuff in
bag.
my
I
life.
want to see that. I want to see, I guess the US Constitution prohibits cruel and unusual punishment, right? I think that the judge should sentence him to putting fries in the bag for a year so he can actually appreciate what he has. Like, just make him work at McDonald's for a year. I know they can't force you to do that, but I feel like that would be justified.
And my scheduling and stuff like that. And then the other thing is, I have to make sure that when I come back, I'm not just talking about me, my situation, this fat loser. Like I don't want to.
So his shows are going to be boring when they come back. He's not going to give the audience what they want, what they deserve. You remember he said he was going to explain everything when he was able to do? He's not going to do it now. It's not going to happen. That stuff's going to be on locals, and locals is just going to be him cooking and bitching about how people are more popular than him now.
Talk about that. Like that's not what my show is for. My show's about laughing at like legal and political shit, covering some trials. And if I can't do that because my brain is going, no, you care about your own situation and stuff like that.
It's because he can't do it because his brain is full of holes from Galaxy Gas. Whippets, right? There's a very annoying clip, like on the Kiwi Farms. I think it was this one. So some brave Kiwi farmer, F in the chat, they actually sat through, it was, I guess it's Folgers can. They sat through Keanu's stream and clipped out a few parts of it. And there's one of these clips where she just says, she's just doing Galaxy Gas over and over and over. And this guy died. Like after watching Keanu's stream and uploading these clips, he actually died of a brain hemorrhage. So very sad that he's not going to be back. And this is fully just induced by watching Keanu. Very, very frustrating for him. And I guess people that were looking at his content, but we might go through, we might just see the summaries. I don't think I can watch it. It's like too cringe. All right, let's continue.
Then I shouldn't be streaming. So right now I've got my hearing coming up on the 24th. So it makes it really hard for me to like get on my own camera because all I want to do is talk about my stuff and like lay things out. And that's not the appropriate place for it.
He had a brain hemorrhage after watching Keanu. Unfortunately, it's inevitable for anyone that watches it. So every time they try and clip it out of a show, one person is deleted. It's like it's rough. It's rough out there.
And so until I can get myself past that shit. So I don't know if that's going to be after my plea hearing on the 24th or my sentencing hearing, which will likely be sometime in February. Once everything's set in stone and I'm sentenced, like that's it. I'm done. And as long as I don't then violate probation, I'll be okay. So I might be waiting until that's over. But when I come back, I'm not going to be sitting here talking about the situation the past year. I have some plans to address it. And I think most people who want to watch me stream don't want me to sit and talk about this shit.
So he's kind of right here. People that want to watch Nick don't want to hear about the drama. They just want Nick to be their e-daddy, and they want to just talk about the legal topics, and they just want everything to go back like it was. Those people don't want to hear about Nick's drama. But the only people interested in this now is the A-logs. That's the main audience for this now. And this is evident by Camelot having a low number show. Like, by all reasoning, this should have been a big show for Camelot, but it seems like it was smaller than his regular shows. And it looks like even 4 days ago, it's only got 7.7Ks. And I'm not view shaming Camelot here. Nick isn't a draw. The audience is not there. It's only the A-log audience is what's remaining. There's like 20 to 30 people that maybe really like want to see the next show, because those are the 20 to 30 people that watch on locals. Now, like I said, I do think that Nick could come back and have a consistent audience, probably larger than mine. Absolutely. Like maybe like 800 to 1300, 1400, something like that. I feel like that's going to be his zone if he can do a consistent 5 shows a week. But there's no chance of that happening because it's too boring. He can't sit. It's murder. He has to go to the Twin City and get hand jobs because doing trial streams is too boring. Buy Trump coin? No, don't do that. That's a big fucking scam. Any meme coin is a scam. Don't buy it.
Like, there's a lot of funny stories. There's a lot of great stuff. There's a lot of terrible stuff, and I'll tell it when it's appropriate. But I don't think my show is the right way to do it. I want people to like choose to participate in that if that's what they care about. And so
they can choose to participate by watching or not watching the stream. He goes on to say, like, he's going to talk about it, which I very much doubt. But he goes on to say, I'll put it on locals. He's like, I'm not going to put it on my show. I'm just going to do it. It's the same thing. It's the same fucking thing. It's just a live stream. It's like my show. Like they try and shame Aaron for like, oh, Aaron talks about his sponsors being on the air. It's just YouTube, buddy. So are you. It's just YouTube, buddy. The real reason is he's trying to bait people into subscribing back onto locals, because you got to pay the $5 to get past the paywall, right? That's the real reason there. Mary Parry with a $20 says, I'm so excited. I caught your stream. Yeah, this is the latest stream. So it's good for people that can't usually make the regular. For a while, I've been thinking your voice reminds me of Internet Historian. Well, we're both Australian, although my accent is a little bit different than his. I know he's Anon. So if you're him, you don't have to say. I just wanted to pay you the compliment. Thank you much. And now our sponsor, Raid Shadow. What does Internet Historian talk about? Like, what is it? Honeyman. Drama. What is drama? Is Nick drama? That's the sort of way he talks, right?
My plan to come back is to come back, cover some legal stories. There's been a lot of great ones.
NordVPN,
like
that's a good one, yeah.
Nordman getting
Nordman.
disbarred and all this shit. And then to cover some trials. The P. Diddy trial is coming up in May, and I have some plans for the P. Diddy trial. I have some a couple other trials that are coming up really soon. So getting back to the stuff that people really like and going, okay, like, look, you let yourself get focused on shit that other people didn't care about, no matter how much I did. And I made a lot of excuses about it. Like, well, if I care about it, then it'll like people that'll come through. You don't want to talk about shit that is uninteresting to you, but also like the shit that you care about may not be appropriate for your show. So I'm just trying to clean that up. And when I come back, it's going to be.
What I think is like really funny is the absolute denial of history. Like, he says that he loves trial streams and he wants to get back to trial streaming. He was so sick of trial streaming. He literally said, I could be getting hand jobs instead of working right now. He hates trial streams. They're so boring for him. Because they're boring because he has to stay in the same room for like 8 hours. You know, like everyone who has a job, like the court, the judge, the lawyers, the jury, they're not being paid to fucking drink. And he's like, well, this is much like he literally said that watching the Johnny Depp trial destroyed him. What about fucking Johnny Depp? What about the judge? What about the lawyers? What about Amber Heard? They must have had a much easier the time than Nick. They just made jokes on the internet about it while he was raking in $20,000 a day in super chats. That was much too stressful for him. So he had to get his coke level up to here so his stress level could go up here. Ridiculous.
Be focused on that. And like any of the other stuff will be reserved for, locals or something like that, where people come to see kind of that behind the scenes or get to talk about that. But I really don't want to focus on the past year. It's been a goddamn disaster.
Yeah.
Pretty
wild. And they're still like, I still see stuff popping up about this and that and this and that. And I've just kind of got exhausting to like try to follow it, because so much of it was kind of unsubstantiated. Does that make sense? So I was like,
yeah, and it's really tough because so the way life works, the way gossip works, actually, in a lot of ways, which I can't get into full details now, but the way this started was that people took something that was partly true and they expanded it into something that wasn't true.
What wasn't true? everything that was expanded upon turned out to be true. I didn't want to believe it. Like going to Jamaica to have a tropical holiday makes sense. It was expanded to being swinging. Okay, well that was true. What wasn't true? What has been expanded? You were arrested. Like this is court documents. What has been expanded that isn't true? The wife swapping. You admitted to that recently as well. Oh my goodness.
For purpose. And that can happen intentionally or unintentionally. But there's so much out there where I'm like, look, I will admit to all kinds of hilariously degenerate fun shit that I got involved in. And say like I got in over my head, I caused harm. Like, but I didn't do this and this and this. Like,
Okay, so what didn't you do?
again, and like, look, I'll admit to all kinds of crazy stuff that people may not believe. But what I won't admit to is stuff that didn't happen. And
Right.
and that stuff that keeps coming up, that's the most frustrating thing, because at some point people have no reason to believe you. It's like, well, I
Why would you believe a liar? If someone is obviously a compulsive liar, everything they've said through their entire career turns out to be false, why would you believe him? Like respect is earned and just over like years, and it's destroyed in seconds. It's like it's so frustrating. People don't believe me after I lied to them for like 5 years. I mean, people do lie every day, but Nick seems to just lie as a habit. It's just a part of his personality. It's crazy.
don't know how to rectify that. I'll try and just tell the story in some way where it's appropriate, and people will either believe me or not, and it's fine. But there is a mix. There's a mix of things, and some of it happened, and a lot of it did not. And there's still tough stuff today. I saw some tweet right before coming on that was saying like April's charges are getting dropped, and I didn't.
Now, there was a theory, and there was some documents that seemed to suggest that Nick's plea deal, admitting to guilty, part of the requirement was that one of the other people, specifically April, wouldn't get any charges. And it was kind of people were having a bit of a laugh about it because it implied that Nick had gone to bat to get April out free, where he didn't do the same thing for his wife, which we know he doesn't really love. If you checked out my PowerPoint presentation at the beginning, you have to go back to the beginning of the stream if you want to see the Nick's tramp stamp presentation. I don't know if there's actual evidence for that. We'll have to wait until Friday for a definitive answer, but I did see that, and it is very funny. If it turns out that that's the truth, that is very funny and sad that he would go to bat for the third woman, or the second woman, I suppose. Legal mindset PowerPoint, yeah, I know. Legal mindset loves PPs, so I decided I'd throw mine in there as well.
Request the same thing for Kayla, and I'm like, you guys have no fucking idea what's going on with any of this stuff. People just throw shit out there, and they pretend that they have any sort of like insider knowledge or whatever. It's like, well, none of that.
Well, Aaron has inside knowledge of your wife's vagina. Is that inside enough for you? Being inside your wife? I think that kind of counts as inside knowledge. Now, there was also inside knowledge from inside the courts, but I mean, the Aaron stuff, that's probably the most damning.
That's true. How do I tell people that none of that's true? A whole bunch of other stuff is, but when you start saying that, people like get mad. They're like, how dare you say that? I'm like, well, because it happened. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
What do you want me to do? Like pretend it didn't?
Yeah, it's one of those things where they'll catch you in something, that you end up admitting later, and they're like, okay, so if that ended up being untrue, that means
Wait a second. I gotta see something here. So anyone that watches anime is a pedo. Wait a second. Wait a second. You mean like this guy? Anyone, eh? Anyone? I mean, this anime is pretty bad though. Like it's basically mind rape revenge with a bunch of 16-year-olds. But anyway,
100% of everything
Nick,
is untrue, and every allegation is, correct. I think that's kind of how people see it in their minds, right?
Yeah. And the other hard part for my situation is like, look, my situation involved other people, and those other people don't really want to have their private lives put online. And
well, that's true for the children, I suppose, and that's true for Kayla. But she did try to initially. But April wanted to be online. She tried to make a go at it. She said she was going to start her own podcast, and she was actively engaging in the conversation on Twitter. So now that she wants to remove herself, now that she got so utterly destroyed by people calling her a slut online, which she is, I don't know.
So
How's it
what
going,
I
Real
would
Heron?
get is people like asking me
Hope your
things
trip to
or
Mexico
accusing me
was good. That
things.
looked like you
And
had
if
some
it's
good
just
time down
me,
there.
I don't care.
Got
Like
some
I
torches?
literally don't live in shame of my decisions. I don't like, even I will fuck up over and over, right? Like we're people, we do that, but I will specifically fuck up. I'll make bad decisions, but I won't live in shame of it because I go, okay.
See, this is the problem. You should be ashamed of these actions. He hasn't learned anything. He said in this stream that he still loves doing drugs. They're awesome. And he I can't believe it, but he literally said drugs are awesome. That's why people want to do them, which is just pure coke addict like point of view. Maybe you should have some shame. Maybe you should.
Well, I learned from that. It wasn't good. And I'm really sorry for the people I hurt, and I'll address them. Like, that's one thing. But there are other people who are like, if you say like this, that will implicate me in these other situations. And that's not my business to put other people's business out there. But people feel like if you stream and you talk about your life, they're entitled to every single detail. And so I tried to set up some.
Well, when you invite people in and you make a community around your life, which Nick did, like he'll say like, oh, I never tried to involve my family. He absolutely did. He literally said after he got caught that he was putting out enough details so that the audience could figure it out. He didn't want his parents to know about his degenerate trip to Jamaica, but he gave enough information so that the Kiwi farmers could know about it. He said this. He came out and said, I gave you enough information because I wanted you to know, but I didn't want my family to know. So he did invite people to be a part of his life. And to a certain extent, you can't engage with the internet without that happening. But he made memes and a culture around his family life, like inviting his friends over, talking about his childhood, making up cute names for people like, oh, it's Lady Racket's cute. And like, she's not a lady. Let's be frank about this, okay? If Erin has been inside your wife's pussy, she's not a lady. That's just the way it is. Then you had things like the kids coming in and like interrupting the stream. It's like, all these damn kids. It's like, yeah, that's funny, but it's endearing. And people do like build a sort of bond around that and it becomes a part of their life. So yeah, the Chad Dad streams, exactly. The big brain power. It's like he injected so much of his family life into this. This is why we know so much about him. So you did invite people into your life and you did invite people to become attached to it. And now you're upset because you betrayed them. And he says like, well, I never promised you anything. No, but you did portray yourself as this way. You did say that this was good. We have clips of you saying this. Like, I believe that swinging is bad for a marriage. Swinging is bad for a childhood. You shouldn't have drugs around them. Like, that's ridiculous. He said all these things and he went back on them. So yes, people are angry because of the hypocritical nature of it. Like, it's like I said before in a previous stream. If I go into the toilet and I see a piece of shit there, it's not a big problem. If I go into the kitchen and there's just shit on the counter table, now there's a problem. And that's what this is. If I see some degenerate being a degenerate, I don't give a shit. But when you see someone that portrays himself as a virtuous and righteous man, and it actually turns out he's more degenerate than the average person, yeah, people get upset.
Barriers by just not answering questions. You're saying like, guys, I'm not going to talk about that, or like, not everything you read about is true. And then people are like, you lied about this. I'm like, well, I mean, one, I don't really think I lied. I just didn't answer because it wasn't your business.
All right, I'm going to take a quick break, but while I do that, while Nick says he never lies, I'm going to play the hypocrisy clip. So Nick never lied about this. All right, I'll be back in like 40 seconds.
I have dealt with some manipulators in my life, dude. And one of the funniest things is trying to get them to just admit when they're manipulating.
Yeah.
They won't do it. They can't. They're incapable of saying, I did the thing. Like, well, this happened. That's why a partnership is important. That's why you will never convince me that anything other than a monogamous heterosexual relationship is the ultimate best environment for children statistically and practically.
I also don't think you should give kids cocaine, for example.
Hypocrisy.
Was that clip that? Oh, that was. Well, this is wrong the wrong way. Wow, that was a quick one. I thought I had more time than that. All right, let's continue with this. Hey, look, why would I wash my hands if I've got a clean dick? Okay. I did wash my hands. I did the courtesy wash. Okay. No, am I muted? No. Hold on a second. No, I'm not muted. You guys are lying. You guys are lying. Oh fuck. Yes, no, the desktop's muted. Okay, sorry. You got me right. You got me right.
Oh,
all right, we'll go back a
You
bit.
think I?
All
And then people are like, "You lied about this." I'm like,
All right, you got me, Chad. It's 2 hours in. We've only been muted once.
well, I mean, one, I don't really think I lied. I just didn't answer because it wasn't your
Coke
business.
break, yeah.
But a bunch of that stuff is now like kind of public, so I don't mind talking about it more. But the other people involved, like I was trying to protect their privacy. For me, guys, like I'll tell you whatever
got
I
me.
do. I don't care. Like it's fun. I go through experiences that other people won't, and it's like, well, you'll never do like
Also,
this drug, or you'll never
Robert Glock says, never trust people who claim not to lie. Jesus, thank you very much.
go to this type
Fully
of place,
America,
or you'll
yeah.
never do this thing. Like I could just tell you what it was like, so you don't have to try, and that's fine by me. But that if I like did that, that would bring other people into it, and the internet is so bloodthirsty to like get any information.
Yeah, this is true. Like, okay, we've got Japanese toilets do have this. Okay, so when you flush the toilet, it does circulate water, so you can wash your hands at the toilet. Okay, so I did wash my hands, allegedly.
They can, and so a lot of people think I lied, and if that's your perception, that's fine. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Like I really didn't. But if you think I'm not trustworthy, that's great. You can watch my show or not, and you can decide later. Maybe I become trustworthy again. But I don't know. I don't control how people will.
For fuck's sake, do I really have to explain how this works? All right, hold on. I'm obviously seething because chat's caught me. There's two types of Japanese toilets. Okay, no, it's not the piss water. Okay, here we go. This is how a Japanese toilet works, you wankers. All right, see? So Japanese toilet works like this. You've got the bowl up here, and you've got a tap water here. So when you flush the toilet, fresh water from the wall comes down, and you wash your hand here, and then the hand water that you're washing with, it refills the cistern or whatever. Okay, so you save water. Samantha says the one person that could back me up on this is leaving. Oops, I did spell it. Member for 26 months. Holy shit, that's almost 30. Says, got work tomorrow, so I need to call here. See you, Samantha. Have a good one. All right, let's continue. Now that my seething is over, let's continue.
React to anything, and I've made peace with that. But it is like a tough thing to deal with. Is people are like, no, you did this and this and this. Like,
it's not in the fucking. Oh my god. Sorry, we're getting distracted. We're getting distracted by this. Someone said that they thought that was a bidet. No, the Japanese toilets have a bidet as well. They shoot from the top and the bottom.
Let me those first three things, and
clean wieners, filthy piss hands. Yes, fucking Americans.
Yeah, what I've talked to people about in the past is I'm like, because people have super chatted and asked in my chat for a long time, they're like, and I've talked about it. I'm like, if you just come back and just cover your trials and you just do your streams, you enjoy what you're doing and you just hit it. Those people that are bloodthirsty and kind of looking for you to admit to something or talk about something in the past, they'll kind of eventually fall off. Most of them.
Real quick,
this is true. If Nick ignores the haters and just goes back to a regular schedule, like 3-5 straight shows a week, he will build up a new consistent audience.
Chris Olin says the bit about being a monogamous Christian man was definitely a lie. No, it wasn't.
Holy shit. The bit about it being a monogamous Christian lie wasn't a lie. It was true. It's true and real. This is some supreme cope what you're going to hear. He's going to say it was true until it wasn't, so he never lied. It's like, well, I was monogamous until I wasn't. So the first chance he got, he cheated on his wife. The first time in his life he had any clout, he had any money, the first chance he got, he cheated on her, took her to a swing of paradise. And he says, no, well, I was always monogamous until we decided to have an open relationship. That means it's not cheating. No, that's not how it works. This is insane.
When I said it, it was true. And then things changed and I stopped saying that. Although I'm still a Christian man.
No, this is a lie. There's the clip with Sean. Like if anyone has that clip offhand, Like when he was when he was seething at Sean, like when Sean made the joke about a shower call, he said, they said that I have an open relationship, Sean. They said all these things. I'll see if I can find that. Actually, if someone knows what I'm talking about, it'd be real solid if you could send that through. This is just objectively untrue. He lied about being monogamous. He lied about everything until the last second, and he couldn't anymore. He basically just got into such a nihilistic point in his life where there was no reason to deny it anymore. Alyssa has, yeah, she surely does. I just need to find it while we're listening to this.
Very Christian man, and people have completely misrepresented things I've said about Christ or the Bible or whatever. I have no problems, and I've never had a problem in my 43 years of life. I've never had a problem with faith in Christ. I've had a problem of relying on Christians because I find Christians to be very unreliable over and over and over.
I mean, he was, so it makes sense if everything he sees is through his own lens, right? He's like, well, I'm a piece of shit liar, so I guess all Christians must be.
But like, as far as the like, when I said I was aggressively monogamous, which I thought was kind of like a funny line. No, it was though. And then later I wasn't. I made a different decision. I'm sorry. And was it a good decision? No, it ended up being terrible. It really fucked up my life. It made me almost lose my marriage. Don't do it. Monogamy is the way to go. Like there may be people who can make something beyond monogamy work. I don't know. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how.
The thing is, he doesn't know how to make it work because it didn't work for him, and he was trying desperately to try and figure it out. It's worked for nobody in all of history. It's never worked.
How they would. I wanted to eat a bullet every day for a while, dealing with more.
Wow, sounds like you're making some really well-educated decisions. Your life was so insufferable dealing with two women that you were thinking about offing yourself. Self-deletion was on the table. Wow, it sounds like you had everything figured out, but you have no regrets. Drugs are awesome. You wish you could be doing them right now. You wish April could be still in your life right now. He says this. He says this privately. He says this publicly. He says it in Felton's fucking chat. He wishes he could have April with him, but he can't because his favorite toy got taken away from him, just like when he was a kid and the teacher took away his Transformers. It happened again. History keeps repeating itself. It's so sad, eh?
Oh my God, it's a mess. Like, but it wasn't that like it wasn't like when I said it again, it was 100% true. And then later it wasn't true. And so I stopped saying it. But people are like, oh, you should have told people. I'm like, why? Why do I have to then go out and be like, by the way, guys?
No, you didn't have to tell people you're a fucking degenerate. You just shouldn't have pretended to be a conservative Chad dad. Didn't have to live a lie. Nick used to say, I don't lie. I never lie. It's great because I never have to worry about getting caught in my lies because I don't tell any. Every time anyone says I don't lie, I immediately suspect them of lying. Because why would you say that? Why would you say that?
Because I've updated my view on this. That's a weird thing to do too.
It really is insane.
For people
Dave.
to expect you to do that when you make a decision that like runs different than what you've said in the past is an impossible thing because you like don't
you lie about me.
I didn't even like know that's what was going on for a bit, and then like all of a sudden I found myself in a situation that was like way different than anything I planned, and things seemed great. And then,
see, this is when you listen to him say this. He says like it just didn't happen. I never planned this. I was monogamous until I wasn't. It's like the second an opportunity was presented to him, it's like a piece of meat that comes on the table. It's like, well, a hungry dog would obviously take the piece of meat, as if self-discipline, self-control, loving your wife, or the values you said when you married her meant anything. And I think they go on to say this. There's some massive cope coming up where they talk about like, well, any man would have cheated on his wife with April. Like, no, they wouldn't have. Yeah, temptation exists for everybody. That's what makes it so important is when you resist it.
they weren't. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess I was right originally. But like people get mad about that. It's like, well, that's only if I was lying at the time, but I wasn't. I just changed my mind. Or I didn't even change my mind. I made a decision contrary to my values and I got fucked for it, man. Like, what do you want? Like,
got what you fucking deserve.
You all were right. So was I. It was great.
I had a creator yell at me because I said they said that they were like, he lied about being a monogamous and a Christian and blah blah blah. And I said, like, jokingly, also, there's a little truth to it, where I was like, I think it's cool he's smashing all these bitches. I think that's cool. I'm not a
look. I can understand the rock star lifestyle, but it's not cool if you're a 40-year-old dad who's cheating on his wife to try and live out some fantasy that you never got when you were younger and never got your chance to sow your wild oats. You got to do it now. It's midlife crisis. It's not cool. It's cringe. And the thing that these people never admit, it's like, well, it was cool that that Nick was banging someone else's wife. Aaron was banging his wife. It wasn't like he was some sort of massive Chad. They were trading wives. That's disgusting. Selling out your wife, the mother of your 5 children, so that you can bang someone who's a few years younger than her. Who gives a shit? A crumb of pussy, you destroy your entire life. Pathetic.
Like Christian. Yeah, I like that. I think it's and
Look,
I had a
good
creator.
times involved.
I had a big creator yelling at me, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "That's not who I am, man. I don't. I'm all about some hot bitches. I don't know what you want me to think." You know?
Dude, that's actually kind of been the most surprising thing. I was like,
True.
man, I grew up in the 90s, and never in my life did I think that like doing drugs and sleeping with beautiful women was like uncool or a bad thing. Like, I know that it could be against your particular morality. Like, I got it, but people now are acting like it's some horrific thing, and it's like, I'm sorry.
This is the cope here. It's not that doing drugs and banging bitches is bad. It's that you were married, you claimed to be a monogamous husband, Christian Chad dad, and you went back on your morals the second you had the opportunity to. You never had it when you were younger because you wasn't cool enough. You never had it in your early 20s because you had no money, you had nothing, right? But the second you got a bit of clout, a bit of money, that's when all them like, oh, I don't want to play with you anymore, Christian morals, tosses them to the side. That's what people are angry about. It's not that you're banging bitches. It's that you're banging bitches behind what you said you were. This is a betrayal.
Hey, like everything involved in my situation was consensual, and like I didn't betray anyone or whatever, but it caused.
I don't believe this at all. Like, surely this goes against your marriage vows. And even if your wife went along with it, there was no way that she was happy with this. That's why she told April to get the fuck out, right? Because that's what everyone's saying, is that Kayla was the impetus for getting rid of April. So obviously, clearly they weren't happy with it. The kids couldn't have been happy with this either. There's no good way to tell your kids, mummy's got a boyfriend. There's no way that doesn't affect them.
There's a lot of hurt.
Moreover, kids learn by example. And when you're like this around them and you think there's no problem, it's just this cool thing we're doing with the friend, mummy and daddy's new friends. That's how they're going to develop their relationship in the future, based on how you teach them.
We might have been lying to ourselves about how things were going. I know that Lady Rackets and I ended up in this place where we were lying to each other. We didn't trust each other. We were paranoid about our relationship, and it almost broke us. Again, it's not a good thing, but at the same time, like, that's because you can't take a 20-year marriage and then go, oh yeah, well, we're gonna like do X, Y, and Z that is wildly different than the rest of your marriage. Other people can maybe make it work with a completely different setup than we had.
They can't. Nobody can make this work. It's doomed to fail. Just don't try it. It reminds me of the Arrested Development clip where Tobias and Lindsay open up their marriage, and Tobias is a counselor, and he says, like, these people somehow delude themselves into thinking it might work for them. And then Lindsay's like, well, does it? And they're like, no, it never works. But it might work for us. That's exactly what happened.
But we...
worked for destiny? No, it didn't.
You guys in the chat are ravenous assholes. And part of what you guys saw in me before any of this happened, and people started like calling it out. They just didn't know what it was. And I'm going to tell you, you can't.
Did people have harems and it worked for them? No, it doesn't work for them. That's why their society isn't as advanced as ours.
Like, as a person, you can't bring this shit to the internet. You just cannot. But what you saw in large part was me being really terrified that my marriage was breaking down for a really long time, fighting against it, stopping doing things that were about me and trying to focus on doing things that were about us, but making the wrong decisions in doing so. And so people are like, oh, you look terrible. And I tried to start telling you guys at the end, right before getting arrested, is like, my mental health is fucking disaster.
Yeah, that's hard to believe, right? Sporkmaster64 with 10 Hong Kong dollars says, sad, pathetic. Let's fucking go.
Despite anything else, like, my mental health is really garbage. And that's because I thought my marriage was ending, guys. But you can't bring that to the internet. It's not your fucking business. And you guys are really shit.
Oh, I never cheated on my marriage. I never broke my morals until I did. But I knew my marriage was falling apart. So I may as well try to get as much as I could, right?
And helping out with like a real situation like that, I'm sorry. And so like you try and deal with it on your own, but there's no hiding what it's doing to you. There's no hiding the fear, the anxiety, the apprehension, the pain you're going through when you're live streaming every day. But you got to keep live streaming every day.
Yes, there is. What is this like? You can't hide the pain. Like, people hide their pain every fucking day. You think someone that's family gets torn apart, and then but they have to work at like McDonald's. They don't just hide the pain and work. That's why it's a fucking job. People, yeah, the video is 1.25 speed because there's a lot of stuff to get through. I think we're almost past the next segment though. They do some super chats, but it looks like it's going to go on for a while more. I think the inauguration is almost starting though. I'm not sure exactly when it starts. But literally everybody has to hide the pain and just do their job, especially if they've got like a time sensitive job, like, you know, if they've got to deliver something on time or it's going to like spoil, or they just don't have enough money to like pay their bills unless they go in and do their hours. People hide their jobs all the time. It's at noon. It starts in 1 hour. All right, we'll take a break soon. Someone in the chat, if you want to. Oh, Mike Pence just showed up. Look at that. This must be awkward for him. Someone in the chat, if you're monitoring the inauguration, can you just like start spamming in the chat when it starts, like when anything good starts? Because I don't know what to look for.
Because that's how you make your income and blah blah blah, and that's how you define yourself. Like, you know all about this. It's like, and so you're stuck in this catch-22 of like, if I stream, people will come at me on this. I can't really talk about this like openly. But again, now that like a bunch of this shit is out, this is what you guys were watching, and I'm sorry, like it really sucked. Believe me, for years it was fucking difficult, and I was scrambling dealing with something I never dealt with, and like trying to find someone who was really hard to find for some personal reasons that involve
trying to find someone other than his wife. He means, oh, look, a younger blonde woman wants to bang me. That sounds like much better than repairing my relationship with my wife of my 5 kids that I destroyed her body, according to his words.
That involve things that aren't your business either. But like, we've been through a lot, and we came out the other side of this. And Lady Raggets and I are doing great right now. It's like not every day is peachy, of course. It's still a marriage, right? But we don't fight like we used to. And we've made peace with so many things because we were both.
Here's a question, chat. Wife is damaged goods. Would you rather bang? It's like gun to your head. You have to bang either 5 kids, Kayla. So she's only been with Nick, but she's had 5 kids, or almost virgin Kayla, but she's been with Aaron once. Well, let's say Aaron and Nick have both had their go. So would you rather get a taste of the toe, or the destroyed body, as Nick would describe it? It's option 1 or 2.
Scared that the other one like was done, but neither of us were actually done. We were just scared the other one was, and we could finally communicate and trust each other. Like we were able to come back together, but man, it was tenuous for a bit.
Yeah, and people would ask me in chat because they obviously, you know.
Here's what I think happens. I think maybe the relationship stays together for a few more years. Maybe they last out their kids going to college. The second their youngest child turns 18, Nick's gone. As soon as his responsibility, and he's gone. So I hope Kayla has like a nest egg somewhere. Because the second that last kid turns 18, she's fired.
With your stature, people would just super chat and be like, how's Nick? Have we talked to him? And I'm like, Nick's going through some shit. Like, it's very apparent he's going through some shit. And they just assume it's like all the stuff they're reading on Twitter. And I'm like, no, it's like he's going through some shit, man, right now. So
Camelot was gonna say it's worse. He knows details that he hasn't told anyone, and it's worse.
That's why I don't bother him. I know you you can't just reach out to somebody and be like, dude, like, you want to talk? Because that doesn't work.
And frankly, like a couple people have been just great. Like, you've been very genuine in whatever through all of this and just been there. But like, some people were like, and they're trying to be nice, but they're like, how are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? I'm like, all I want to do is drink a gallon of liquor, and the government told me I can't. Like,
so people are trying to help him. He literally said that he had friends that wouldn't leave him alone, and he despises them. He's like, why don't you leave me alone so I can go crawl into a bottle? Fuck off, people that are trying to ask if I'm okay. And I think I know who he's talking about, the people that reached out to him multiple times over and over. He resents them. How pathetic is that?
Because you want to die. Like, you want to be done. Yeah. When I say a gallon of liquor, like literally that's what you're like, if I just do this, I won't wake up tomorrow, and like the problems will be solved. The insurance will take care of everybody I care about. That's really shitty thinking, but man,
no, it wasn't Drexel actually. Drexel, once he learned about the degeneracy, he actually went cold turkey on Nick, and I think they mentioned this. Drexel refuses to talk to Nick, and I think it's because Drexel realized that Nick was a complete cuck and a complete fraud. A very surprising actually response from Drexel. Interesting, I thought it was.
Where you get, and I had to kind of just work.
Sean is fat though. That is true.
Shit.
Oh my goodness, we're just going to go over to the Trump inauguration for a second. Look at this. Look at the pain. Look at the pain. Hillary and Bill arriving.
And we are expecting
This is
that
this is
he will
elder
be
abuse.
in
You can't be
attendance,
doing
and
you
so we're
can't
just
be
gonna have
doing
to wait and
this.
see. Of
They got to
course,
smile.
you know, George W. Bush,
Oh
with
my
Laura
God.
Bush as well. We're
Oh
also
my goodness.
expecting to
Suffer,
see
suffer,
arrive,
Clintons.
as we
It
continue
was her turn,
to
chat.
just watch
It was
things
her
really
turn.
unfold
All right, we'll
before our
I'll keep an eye on this on my second screen, and we'll probably jump in like in the next 10-20 minutes. I think we'll jump over to Trump until the inauguration's over, and then we might go back to this. It depends how much energy we've got. We'll see if we're getting high or low energy.
Because eventually, eventually I'll like find the right way to do this. And I have
George
a
Bush
good
is
plan
showing
for
up.
it
Holy shit.
right now, but it's just a confluence of a whole bunch of stuff. And a lot of it's coincidence. And a lot of it's just the fact that some things had gotten really bad while other things are really good. But the people online, you don't want to go on and just bitch at people all day. Like, oh, my life sucks. Like,
Then why did
when
you do it on
you do that like one time, that's great. When you start doing it every day or whatever, people don't want to see that. Like,
Actually, I think we'll since it is inauguration day, let's make this democracy. We'll do a binding poll, a binding 3-minute poll. Do people want what to do? Continue with Nick until inauguration, or continue? Wait, hold on. Continue with Nick. Continue Nick's yapping, or full Trump. Okay. All right. This is a binding poll. If you want to keep listening to Nick, you got to make your voice heard. Vote now. You got like 2-3 minutes, and we'll see. We'll see. But once the inauguration starts in the next 20 to 30 minutes, we will be switching over. But we can switch over early. This is what the vote's for.
if you want to bring good energy to a show, you want to bring positivity to people. And so like, I was no longer able to do that. I haven't been able to do that until like now. I'm starting to get there. And I apologize for anything that's like negative about the past. I'm really just blunt about it because it happened. It's done. What I'm working on going forward is, again, making a good show. Also, like going on other people's shows and making fun of a fat retard.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we miss. That's what I miss. It's just having.
Oh wow. Sean Reeling destroyed. Any news on Pirate Software? He's being laughed at in every community. More stuff is finding out about. People are learning more about him. He's coping. He's seething. He said he's never returning back to Classic WoW, and it seems like he's now being bullied in. I think it's Ashes of Creation. Like there's a PvP guild that's like after his guild or something, and it's only a matter of time. He's crashing out pretty hard. But we'll have to see if there's anything more for another stream about him. I don't know. And somebody started view botting him as well, because like I checked him out the other day and he had like 80,000 people watching him, and it's like 60,000 over his regular numbers. So someone is trying to view bot him to try and take him down, and that's lame. That's gay. Just let it happen naturally, you know. I mean, he's going to be successful for a long time. I think like this isn't going to destroy his career, but his reputation will never be the same.
Come on and just freaking troll and talk about bullshit.
Oh my God, I need to do that again.
Yeah, and I still bring Cecil on. I still go on his show, but with traveling so much, I haven't been able to do anything at all. Kate the Swiss says apology accepted. Come back to us, Nick.
Will do, brother.
Says Nick, as a Christian, you screwed up, and you got to own that. You don't owe anyone anything. No one here has the right to throw stones. Thank you, Be Quick. Appreciate you, Grifty. Come gutter cats, good. Thank you, Grifty. Appreciate you. Squid says just catching up.
Gale you want. I know people who really, really like them.
Yeah, dude, that's for sure, man.
So I know people that really like them. I guess he's assuming his two wives, his sister wives or whatever. That's a weird thing to say when you're trying to say like you're trying to repair your relationship with your wife. People, not person. He didn't say my wife likes it. He said people. So sounds like he's still trying to get in the pants of a few individuals if he can find a way to sneak around, right?
Be at the gym and girl walk up, I love your tattoos. I'm like, yeah, they're like 10 years old, but I appreciate it. It works. Okay. I'm a degenerate. Yep. It works. It works for me. Squid says just catching up. No way your tattoos hurt worse than on the sternum or nipples. Well, I mean,
dude, I wouldn't get my nipples tattooed because like I'm a giant.
Never say never.
Sternum, I don't know. Like my chest tattoo right here, like that didn't hurt at all. The whole thing, but like coming over to the sternum, I guess it could hurt more. Anything that's thin skin and bone is pretty vulnerable to pain.
Yeah, I've retired. I think I've retired from tattoos. I've kind of been. Oh, I need to get Thick Jerry because everybody that was years ago, and I betrayed the chat and I never got my Thick Jerry tattoo. But I would like to get like my left thigh, a little bit of my left thigh done because I already have one, and I'm like, just keep going.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, thank you, no more. I'm done. It's just too much, man.
I might do some upper leg tats in the future. I haven't figured out what to put there.
Upper leg tats in the future? You know, I have a scar on my upper leg. That's how I describe it when I fell on a jar and a piece of glass went into my ass. Not my asshole, but like my cheek. When I was a child, I fell out of a tree onto a glass jar, and I got about this much glass go into my upper leg, as I described it. And Nick is literally talking about getting his booty tattooed. Holy shit!
I don't know. It's always tough.
Tramp stamp is coming.
In
Yeah, he's
reality,
going to get
though,
one
like
to match
I
the
was
thing.
not planning on when we went to the convention. I was not planning on doing anything other than I talked to the guy who did the snake. I'm like, can you add the lettering? And he's like, yeah. But I wasn't planning on getting the color on the flag, and I wasn't planning on getting the second tattoo because whatever. But then found some artists who were open, who had work that I liked. It's like, okay, cool, let's do it.
Oh yeah, dude. Chris Olin says, appreciate the honesty from the outside looking in. It's easy to jump to conclusions given how things played out. Owning your faults is the best path forward. Still rooting for the
I mean, it is pretty easy to jump to conclusions when the police arrest you, right? Like, sure, okay, I can admit to that one.
I think 95% of people are.
Right? So the hardest part about this is at the beginning, people are like, what I expressed at the beginning was a desire to defend my rights. I still believe like we lost in court. We can maybe we could appeal it or whatever after the after
So we
the
lost
plea and stuff.
everything.
I don't know if I'm going to bother with any of that shit because I kind of just want to be done. Like I just want to move on and not worry about anything. But I still believe that the warrant is unjust. I think maybe my lawyer
hasn't learned anything. He hasn't had any regrets. It's all still someone else's fault.
Didn't do the best job explaining some of the stuff. And when I talked to him prior to hiring him, we talked about things. I'm like, this is what I want to attack the warrant and I want to attack that search.
Sorry, I got a very funny private DM. It says, which I will read because I think it's warranted to be read. It says the tattoo is to hide a scar, and I joked about this earlier, saying it was a cesarean section scar for he successfully got his baby delivered. But this one's much smarter. It says he sold his kidney to pay for the house. It's dark over there now. He can't drink as much. How sad! How sad.
And here's how.
That's
and
pretty
I
funny, though.
laid out a whole bunch of shit, and when it came down to it, they didn't want to do the work that I said. But we're talking about you're just like 2 days before the deadline to submit your motion.
So Nick wanted to fight it, and he still thinks his lawyer did a bad job. If only we could have seen we have to teleport over to the Berenstein universe where everything doesn't make sense or whatever, and we want to see the one where Nick defended himself or his lawyer defended him and did what he wanted to do, and that's the one when Nick gets the death penalty for a misdemeanor or some shit.
And I'm like, but we talked about something way different. We talked about something much bigger. And they're like, no, this is a strategy we need to go with. So you're like, well, this is why I hired you, I guess. So you go with their strategy. It doesn't work. I don't know that my strategy would have worked at all. I have no idea. But
No, it didn't. It didn't work. The Barnes defense, it didn't work. Do you remember that clip of Barnes? Nick Rocade has already won. He's already won. The constitution is obvious. It didn't work. You tried everything and nothing worked. You were holding out hope, kicking the can down the road to hope that maybe something could come up in Kayla or April's cases, and you could use that to say, like, well, if it worked here, Judge, you could please let me out. None of it worked. You exhausted every ridiculous avenue. And when you had nothing else left, you begrudgingly accepted a guilty plea. This is the acumen of Nick Recader, the lawyer, allegedly.
I do believe that there are some unjust things about the warrant, but that's now over. And my desire was to exercise my rights to the maximum.
So never been so okay.
And then people are like, oh, Nick's trying to avoid accountability or responsibility. Like, no, I want to take all of the accountability and responsibility I have for the things that I did. If I could win first, I would love to win first and then tell you all about all the cocaine I did. Like, I don't care that much about.
I mean, he's told everything about the cocaine, right? We know everything. There's a part in this one, I hope we do get to it, because maybe we're going to jump over to Trump in a second or soon. People want to continue Nick, though. This is mostly a Nick positive stream. But we've got to watch the inauguration, at least see what Trump has to say. He goes on to talk about the massive safe cope. So one of the things he says is you can't prove that the safe in his house, in his bedroom, was his. And he's like, well, Aaron left my house 6 weeks ago. He could have stuck the drugs into my house. It's insane. The depths of what he has. And he doesn't believe it either. He's just trying to pretend that he's got some sort of argument. He's got nothing left.
What I did, I made decisions that maybe weren't the best. And
also, sorry, there's a lot of pauses there. I know it's kind of breaking up the conversation. But people have been saying his voice has been changing a little bit. It might be a different microphone, although it could be the Galaxy gas, the whipping, the whippets. That could be it as well, maybe.
like they ended up manifesting in some really bad consequences. That's how life goes. But I don't ultimately mind. I'm not like running away from it. I'm not trying to say there was anybody else. So people took that desire to say, hey, like, look, you want to exercise all your rights. You never know like who's involved, like government could be involved. Some other people could have done something to cause this. And like, so you want to make sure justice is served. So they'll take that and be like, oh, he's avoiding this, or he's trying to, like, people said, I blame the government. I've never once accused the government of a conspiracy against me or of planting anything.
This is the stupid double talk that he does. He never accused it. He's like, what he said was, you never know what cops bring into your house, in direct relation to what I think it was Chrissy Meyer said, where it's like, so you think they could have been planted. He never said in plain English. It was an implication. He's like, well, you can't prove an implication. I could be saying, like, fuck off. We know what you're talking about. Stop playing these games. Everybody knows how your operation works now. You just do these like sneaky implications. Well, I don't know who could have snuck these in. The cops bring in things all the time. Oh, I never implied anything. No, the implication is there. Sure, you never said it in exact words, but we know what you're doing, and it's not working for anyone. That's why you're taking a guilty plea, and that's why none of your legal motions worked.
I have said you don't consent to searches because you don't know
And that is
what
good
the
advice.
government
Don't
might
consent
even
to searches.
accidentally plant just due to the nature of their jobs. But this is shit I've been saying for years. I have never suggested that happened in my case. To my knowledge, didn't. Now the government did do some bullshit. I have, and I actually don't think it was nefarious. It's just how things played out. I have on body cam the one of the sheriffs actually touching my daughter's hair with gloves that had just handled bags of cocaine. Like, and then there's like,
so if we believe what Nick is saying here, and he says the body cam would show this to be true, he's literally saying that he exposed his children to cocaine indirectly. It's his cocaine in his house that the police came because of his actions on live stream and because of his actions in the community. And then he did it. So he is actually admitting to exposing his children to cocaine right here. Because if the cocaine wasn't brought in by him, it never would have happened. So he did expose his child to cocaine. That's just a fact now. Now, of course, we knew that. But did he give it, like, did she actually take a dose or something? Or was he medicating her? Now, Camelot implied this in a previous stream. We don't know that. Maybe the test could be a mistake. There could be some errors. We don't know exactly because there's been no good explanation. But Nick is saying here, whether he realizes it or not, he exposed his child to cocaine by bringing it to the house, and then his actions that invited the cops into his house. That's his result. That's what he's guilty of.
oh, well, you exposed your daughter to cocaine. I'm like, I never fucking did. Not a chance.
He just did. He just
and I
admitted to
think
it.
she may have accidentally been exposed by this guy, but there's no way for me to.
Wasn't an accidentally. Oh, it's just an accident. Another whoopsie daisy. Oopsie daisy.
Prove it or anything, but I do have it on body cam, and so I have to like.
By the way, I don't believe this story that's how the metabolite test came back. I do kind of have some suspicion that maybe there's something wrong with the lab test, but there's no way that this is how the child was exposed. Now, Nick would talk about, and we talked about this in the last stream if you want to learn more about this. Nick literally searched for how could a cocaine test come back false positive, and he searched on Quora, and he found a doctor who was arrested for trying to produce ecstasy or something in their house, and is an absolute insane man, and it's quite wild. This man said that if cocaine and water and sweat are mixed together, it can create these metabolites, and then they are, I guess, absorbed into the hair, but that doesn't make a lot of sense because they wash the hair or something, but I don't know. So that's Nick's cope, and he says he can prove it with the body cam, but you can't see the body cam.
Talk about how this can happen at some point. Again, this isn't the right place. My show isn't the right place, but it will be addressed at some point. And there's a ton of stuff out there. And I have an expert who agrees that can be the cause of.
And the expert that agrees is an absolute lunatic
of this thing. But people have misperceptions about drug testing. But I'm tangenting. I'm sorry. People thought I'm trying to avoid accountability or responsibility. It's like, no, I didn't want to go to prison because I still needed to be there for my family. Like, my wife and kids still exist no matter what happened. So avoiding prison is the priority at the beginning. And I said at the beginning, my reputation is going to take a fucking hit, and there's nothing I can do about it because what I have to do right now is I have to just say, we're fighting for my rights. I believe this is unjust. And I can't just come out and say, yeah, guys, of course I had a bunch of cocaine. Like, you can't say that at the beginning. And anybody who thinks you can, like, I'm sorry, this isn't New York City. This isn't LA. I'm in a small county. They're like 5 county attorneys. And I've had live streams that are 3 times the population of my county. So like, just to give you an idea of how little it is.
He's trying to big league his county now. That's a interesting thing.
People are like, oh, you need to plea out. It's like, you can't just call him up and plea out. The plea offers weren't on the table. I didn't even get discovery started until fucking July. So it's like, I don't even know what they have.
So he says like he didn't get discovery started until July. He was arrested in like late May, right? So within basically 3 to 4 weeks, the discovery sort of started. It makes it sound like it's like such an unreasonable thing. It doesn't sound like too terrible, honestly. Oh, Obama just showed up. Okay. Obama not looking so good. Well, he looks better than Hillary.
I don't even know what they're claiming. And they're not in a place to start offering plea agreements yet. So I have like Nate, the lawyer, calling me up and like, Nick, man, you got to plead this out this week. The week I get arrested, he's like, you got to plead this out by the end of the week. You got to get back to street.
So my understanding is that Nate is both a prosecutor and a lawyer. So it sounds like he probably had a great advice and his friend tried to help him. And how was that help repaid? He just decided to shit on him live on stream.
I mean, you got to plea out. I'm like, Nate, it doesn't work that way out here. He was a New York City prosecutor. And so up there, sure, you get someone with an ounce of cocaine. That's not surprising for them. So they could plead out in a week. Down here, like the detectives, like this one of the top 3 or top 5 cocaine busts in this county ever. And I'm like, really? Wasn't even that much.
That kind of feels like badass. Does that feel badass kind of?
No, it's like, God.
Hey, your wife, you cheated on your wife. You had Aaron Kumin her. You had your kids taken away. You had your reputation destroyed. You had your streaming career possibly destroyed. We don't know. We'll have to see. Was that a cool thing to happen, to destroy your fucking life? What a dumb fucking comment.
Like, if I knew it was going to be such a big deal, maybe I should have had more. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's just weird because it's like such a different reality than a lot of people experience. Metro areas, like the raid on my house wouldn't have happened in a metro area. There's no way. They're too busy with everything else. But out here,
hey, Blanco boy,
that's what happened. But the complicating factor out here is that, like, it being like a high profile cocaine bust wasn't like a cool thing. It ended up being a fucking disaster because all they deal with is meth out here, and they treat coke and meth the same. They are not. They are wildly different drugs with wildly different addictive properties and wildly different consequences on both people's physical and mental status. And so they treat you like a meth addict because they don't know how to deal with someone who's done cocaine. And you're like, well, this guy's probably like this. It's like, I went to recovery and sat next to actual meth addicts. It was like, holy shit. Like,
oh, he's much better than those other poor meth addicts. He's much like he couldn't destroy his life like they have.
Like, these guys can't go to Walmart without stealing stuff to try and buy meth. Like, these are people who suck dick and stab people for drugs. It's like, oh my God, I wouldn't do that. Like, I only do that because it's funny.
And Nick's never stabbed anyone, as far as I understand it.
Did you? So you went to a recovery thing? How was that? I've
good point.
Experienced anything like that.
It was cool. The guys there were super nice. But again, so you go around and it was outpatient recovery because so the way Minnesota works is eventually they'll order you to what's called a Rule 25 assessment. And you talk to a chemical use assessor and you tell them all about your drug and alcohol use history. And then they also will talk to the county, they'll talk to your family, they'll talk to your friends, they'll talk to anyone who they can to get a full picture, like just in case you're lying about it. And I had no reason to lie. Like, I was completely honest with that person. One of the things that took so long is because of our family case. All we needed was immunity from the criminal case for shit we said in the family case. And once we got that, like, our chemical use assessment happened in the family case and we got immunity for everything we said. It's like, okay, well, I'll go tell them everything. I don't care now. And so you go in and you tell them like your history of drug use and alcohol use, like when the first time you drank was, how often you drank. I'm like, I drink like 5 drinks a night. They're like, oh my God, are you okay? I was like, I don't know. I think so. Like, did you have any withdrawal when you had to stop drinking? I was like, no. Really? Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I just didn't. Like, I drank a shitload, but it was always on my show. I didn't, like, off my show, I don't really drink. And
it was more than 5. Let's be honest. Like, he was polishing off in, like, I'm pretty sure like half to full bottles of whiskeys a night, and they were expensive ones too. And he goes for cask strength, which is like 60% alcohol rather than like typical 40. There was no way it was 5 drinks a night. It was way more than that.
Go through it and then they diagnose you. Then they're like, do you have substance use disorder or not? Our chemical assessor did not diagnose us with substance use disorder. Now, people are like, why didn't you just go to rehab or whatever? Like, you can't just go. You have to have a diagnosis because they have a limited number of beds.
Didn't Ralph just go to rehab? Like, it was Mexican rehab though, but he just went. I'm pretty sure with money you can get anything done. It's like you just can't go to rehab. I'm pretty sure you can if you've got rich parents, which you do.
So I'm sure there's somewhere in like Savannah or like Sedona or whatever where you can go to some retreat that's a drug rehab and you can pay like 20 grand. But in Minnesota, you know, you have to get diagnosed. They didn't diagnose us with substance use disorder. They said clearly you guys have abused substances.
If Nick, I feel like Nick shouldn't return at all. I think that it's like, my honest opinion is it's going to be worse for him if he returns, because the chat's never going to not give him shit for this. And I think it'll just be a negative feedback loop every time he goes online. Like he'll read the comments. He won't be able to get the self-affirmation he was getting before. And it's going to make him seethe and hate every time he goes to work. And it's going to feel like work in a big way now. If he wants to, like if he needs to stream for money, then he can do it. But he just needs to ignore the haters and just do a boring trial watch show or whatever, you know, just whatever his audience wants. Essentially just put in your hours, show up on time, 3 to 5 streams a week, and he can probably live off that, honestly, off residual audience, I guess. I think it's going to be like, if he can just live off his trust fund or whatever, then he should just do that, because his streaming is just going to be a net negative, I think, on his entire life from this point forward.
But you don't seem to have an ongoing problem or a recurring problem. They're like,
Shut
okay,
one
cool.
time, yeah,
So they
exactly.
sent us to this
Wasn't even thinking
outpatient
about that.
recovery treatment. Well, you sit down in there and they're like, what's your name and drug of choice? I'm like, my name is Nick. My drugs of choice are like cocaine, Molly, and ketamine. And like 5 guys look at you, go, cool. But then it gets to them and it's like, oh, my name's whatever. It's all confidential, so I don't even want to say a joke name. But my name's whatever. My drug of choice is meth. And then the last guy's like, yeah, fentanyl. And I'm like, holy shit, I would never, ever in my life do meth or an opiate. Like, never. I'm terrified of those things. But like, that's this county.
What is, like, I'm going to admit that I do have ignorance on this subject. What is ketamine classified as? Is it like a depressant or something? I don't know. Because there's like uppers and downers, right? Like I just don't do them, so I don't know. Apparently, I don't know, like doing ketamine and it's a horse tranquilizer? It's a downer? I guess so. Down the K-hole? Just like Nick, just like Aaron was down the K-hole. Kayla's hole is what I mean, if you didn't get that.
And we had this point where the guardian had lied to him. Well, I have a lot to say about that. She's walking through her house and she goes, I've never dealt with any case involving cocaine. And she goes, and we do not typically deal with people in y'all's socioeconomic status. I'm like, that's because we're not stabbing people, right? Like, we're not doing anything. We're not dealing. We're not doing anything to harm anyone else. This is just a personal thing that we're doing. And they didn't know what to do with that. But like, it was this big complicating factor. And at some point I'll talk about how they used our kids against us. And I don't mean like our kids, but like the threat of taking them away or the threat of doing things to our kids. It's the grossest shit on the planet.
All right. So here's the thing that is a big fucking lie in Nick's story. Is he talks about how he had to just plead guilty and accept the daddy government ruling over his life and checking in him and putting him on probation for a couple of years, probably is what's going to happen. He says like, well, I'd never see my kids again, sort of thing. The foster family that the kids went to were his like his parents. So they were still seeing the kids. Like even when the kids were taken away from him, they were with granddad and grandma. If this kept going for a year, he would still be able to see his kids. He makes it sound like his kids were being thrown into like an actual foster home where like you have no idea. They went with family. And he's like, well, if I fought this, then I wouldn't be able to see my kids, even though I could still see them because they're just living with mom and daddy and they're actually feeding them. Like this is just like absolute. He just doesn't want to admit. He doesn't want to admit that he had no case and it was a losing argument to even try and fight this. Because he admitted to everything.
That they did. Just because they didn't like what I said online. They actually said
fucking hell.
And then they also didn't like that we hired private counsel and we're resisting the shit we had to.
Just a man trying to shut him down because he's speaking his truth to power online. Oh my goodness. They didn't like my show where I talk about getting blowjobs and hand jobs in the Twin Cities. I was shitting over the Minnesota. I was too strong. They were looking to get me. Yeah, come on. There's a fucking cope.
We were being accused of. They're used to people who don't have the ability to hire private counsel. They just take appointed counsel and they just do whatever the county asks. We're like, we just want our kids, like, but you can't do this to us too. And you can't fuck us over in our criminal case by taking statements we say to comply with you in the family case. And so that's another thing the internet like isn't familiar with, and they don't have access to that information. I don't blame them. But like, I had to deal with things in a certain way.
Apparently that's
because they had my kids. Like, they take your children and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, if you fight, Camelot, there's one time where we had a hearing and they're like, if you fight, they'll take your kids for another 6 months. And they don't need a...
Does anyone believe this? He's saying that the state said in no uncertain terms that if you fight this, we're going to take your kids away for another 6 months. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. Maybe they said like, if you fight, like if you decide to go forward and fight this, then your kids will remain with your family until the time when it's concluded. They may have said that, but he's like, they looked us in the eye and they said, if you fight this, we're going to take your kids away for another 6 months. Like, fuck off. And like, Nick talks about how the government is such a bad boogie person. And like I said, I'm pretty libertarian myself, so I don't want the government involved in anything. I want the government to get the fuck out. But let's look at the actual result of this. Nick was on a fast track to destroying his entire life. He looked like a fucking goblin. He was melting on camera in front of us. He could have been dead in another 3-4 months of what he was doing. I think it would have been over for Nick, for sure. Now the government comes in, the big evil government, and what's happening now? Nick's going weight. He's not doing drugs. He's actually taking part in his life. That April's been kicked the shit out. It seems like the government has only actually improved his life, objectively, which is embarrassing. He needed to get either parents, his actual parents, or government parents to fix his life for him because he's too stupid to do it himself.
Legal justification for it. They'll just take them. And legal justification will just exist already. They don't need a judge to sign off on it. So if you fight, you won't see your kids for 6 months. Sorry.
Except they're with your grandparents and you could visit them.
And so what do you do?
And I'm not saying that's ideal. Obviously that sucks. That sucks. But it's not like they're being taken to like child prison or some shit.
Like, how do you fucking deal with
Was
that?
that a bluff, or is that something where you were like,
No, that was real.
What the fuck? Elon Musk is at the inauguration. We're probably going to switch over to the inauguration in a couple of minutes, if not in a second.
Like that's a real thing. And again, there's so much more to that story, and I don't want to get too deep.
Like, if you get felted by Asmongold, I feel like you shouldn't be able to go to the presidential election. And Asmongold is absolutely seething and coping about Asmon, exposing him for being a liar about video games, which is very sad.
To it because we're past that now. That case is over. But like, if people are wondering where I've been, man, these people threatened to take my kids for a minimum of a year if I said or did anything just to defend myself.
I don't believe this for a second. This is not true.
And since it's the CPS cases are like they're family law, so they're civil, they don't need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. You don't have Fifth Amendment protection. You don't have shit. You don't have any of the stuff that's built into the criminal system to keep you innocent. You are guilty the moment they accuse you because they quote unquote have the interest of your children at heart. And it's really fucking hard for people to understand what that's like. But Kayla and I have poured our entire lives into our children. Entire lives. We have sacrificed so many personal decisions.
Except when you went to go to the casino on New Year's Eve, or was it Christmas Day, with Aaron to celebrate his birthday. You know, spending all the time with the kids, except when you're out swinging, except when you're out boning each other, except when you're too busy to make them fucking SpaghettiOs because you're too deep in the K-hole.
Decisions, and we have I mean, all of my time right now is basically entirely them. Now I love them, they're hilarious, they're the funniest people I know. I don't mind spending time with them, but like the reality is, like,
this is very true. Sacrifice everything
17,
except the Coke.
prior to you being born, even we've poured ourselves into these kids, and to then have a government come in and be like, you guys must be terrible because some retards lied about you, and you're like, holy shit, and you can't do anything.
Holy shit. Just because you did a good job in the past doesn't mean you weren't on the path to destroying much worse than what happened. Like, looking at Nick's face, just look at his face. There was no way he was surviving another 3 months with that habit. Like, he's getting fucked up from like what, 2 a.m. to like 5 a.m. and then a couple of hours later he's driving the kids to school. He went off the road on the rust stain with his daughter in the car. That could have been it for him and her, because he was too proud to just have the car delivered or to get some fucking snow tires. He was on a quick path to self-destruction. If anything, this is a reality check that improved his life. As embarrassing as that is.
They just take him. You have no recourse. And if you try and have recourse, they keep him longer, or they try and take him away permanently. And it's
So how do you
go,
navigate?
what if I lose? You know, like what if I lose?
And this is a man that talked about fighting on the principle of things. Again, more empty words. Fight, fight, fight. Don't let the government get away with shit. The second it's him, it's like, well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to inconvenience what I've got.
So eventually you just have to comply.
So is that what leads you to like pleading out, basically?
No, I mean, pleading out is just once my legal defenses were exhausted, the question is, do you go to trial? And don't get me wrong, my case, like usually you find drugs in a house, it's a pretty simple case, right?
This is a pretty simple case. They found drugs in your house and it's open and shut.
But you find drugs in a safe and that house, you go, oh, wait, there are other people who have full access to that house and that room where the safe is.
That's so fucking stupid. So he's either like, well, I could have pinned this on my wife, or I could have pinned this on my girlfriend who was living in the big bed. It's not going to work. Now, people are saying that, like, well, maybe if the drugs were found in the kids' room, like, it's like, well, you can make the argument that it's your kids, you know, that had them, but that's not what happened. The second they found it in the master bedroom in his safe, it was over.
It's now complicated because they never proved that I know anything about that safe or.
Oh, this is so fucking stupid. You can't prove it's my drugs in my house, in my master bedroom. Fuck off.
Anything like that. So now they, you know, if we went to trial, they would have to prove that I know what's in the safe, that I know the combination, that it's like my thing, and not maybe someone else who was at the house but got kicked off but is acting like a jilted bitch. Like, maybe there's that. That's what they would have to prove at trial. But
that's open and shut, and you admitted it.
But you can go fight that and maybe win, maybe lose, or eventually. Like, I'm like, can we just get done? Because I don't want to do that. I don't want to sit there and go through that shit. I think it might be funny. It's like interesting as an academic thought, but when it's your life and you go, all I want to do right now is not be here and be here past the goal line so I can move on. So that's what I'm choosing. We've worked out, like I said, we worked out a plea deal. Everything's set to go. And I'm happy with it. And
yeah, Aaron was gone.
I just want it done.
Aaron was gone 6 weeks before the raid happened. How long do you think that cocaine's lasting in that house? There's no way that cocaine's lasting 6 weeks. They probably go through that every week or some shit.
But I have to wait on the court calendar. The court calendar says January 24th.
Can you talk about your plea deal and like what it?
All right, we're going to pause the Recator coverage here. We're going to go over to the inauguration, I think. I need a bit of a break anyway. I saw Joe Biden walking up, so I feel like this is a good time to switch over.